And welcome to LAWhammer. This week, you may notice that we are one man down. We mentioned this last week. And because of that, we have an episode that has been planned a wee bit ago, but was purposefully planned to be out of time, as in out of sequence. We have discussed in many of our previous episodes about using your sessions for different things, whether it's just to have a bit of stress relief after the festive period and being exceedingly ill last week, or alternatively, if it's because you've got some important lore you want to deliver. You don't need to just do it with your PCs doing their PC thing. You can have them, for example, portraying characters in a book that they're reading. You can have them learning about an event from the past by playing through those characters, or alternatively, you can flesh out a part of their past using flashbacks. Now, many of you out there will have a loose idea of how flashbacks are normally used in role-playing games. We're pretty much going to ignore how they're normally used in role-playing games here. Typically, they flash back to something that's perhaps important for the ongoing current plot. No, we're not doing that. We're having none of that important flashbacky nonsense. We're just going back 5 days. Just 5. Just 5. That's it. 5 days in the past on the road between Altdorf towards, well, the river. Between Altdorf up to Delberz and then eventually Middenheim. Our characters had an encounter. Something occurred. This is something they as yet don't know about. But their characters from last week most certainly did. That definitely won't go wrong. So, beyond all that, a couple of things to say. The classic stuff. Number one, if you are out there watching us and you're thinking, what can you do to help out LAWhammer, which I enjoy so much, because I know we enjoy it. There's a variety of things you can do. You can, for example, press like. You can share comments. You can do all sorts of cool stuff. And in fact, there is one comment I would particularly appreciate this week. So if you're watching this over on YouTube later, or if you're watching on Twitch right now, the temporal issues. 5 days ago. If you're watching it, wherever you may be watching it, we have completely rejigged the sound at this side. So I'm really interested to know how clear and sharp we're coming through. If you could drop some comments about that, not right now, because we haven't all started talking over each other, maybe perhaps a little bit later on in the stream, and give us an idea of how well it's coming through. That would be great. Further, over on YouTube, if you could drop some comments as well. Particularly interested to see how it lands over there, because we'll obviously do a bit of post-processing afterwards, and I'm hoping that the sound will be crisp and clear. We'll find out. Here's for hoping. So, if you'd like to help us out, that's a great way to help us out. Go do put comments all over the place. But beyond that, I don't think we have any XP to begin, because we're missing one player, so we don't need to do that. Yeah, boo, hiss, no XP to worry about. But much like when Sage was missing, there is always that little, is Ed going to get this XP? How's this all going to land? The answer is possibly, and I'm not going to tell you how. But there is definitely something up through the course of this episode. We'll see exactly what, or not, through the course of our play. I will say, though, that the events that we're about to remember from 5 days ago are definitely potentially impactful. So, let us get ready for, well, the episode's just called The Shining Rock. But for those of you out there who are in the know, it's most certainly the place of the Shining Rock. Sunlight dapples through the trees, casting you in light, then shade, then light, then shade. At least some of you. Birdie, mostly in the shade, attempting to avoid the worst that the sunlight that's streaming from above can offer her. The exact opposite, the good father, mostly in the light. It has been an hour's walk so far. And you've all found yourself on an unexpected, it would be easy to drop so many different potential words to describe the father dragging you out here to a place you're not entirely convinced if you even want to be. I'll let you choose amongst yourselves as to how exactly you describe this.
Greta and the baby coming.
So, I will get on to that in a moment, exactly who's with us. About an hour ago, we left Gerhardt in the town of Drakenstadt. Now, you had never been to Drakenstadt before, a large town on the Altdorf to Middenheim road, and it's fair to say you're not entirely convinced you ever want to go back again. Not that the place couldn't have been lovely, it could have been. It's a relatively sizable town. It's well appointed, huge farmlands around it, tree line beyond that, and high fences bordering the tree line, keeping whatever may lie beyond firmly out of the farms. It was the burnings. There was a fair number of them, and they weren't just located in the town itself. They were located in several of the villages around it, almost as if they were attempting to outcompete each other as to exactly how many burnings that they could effectively complete. Now, some of them were clearly proper burnings. If you disagree with the Emperor's mutant edict, which the Sigmarites from Reichland clearly do, because they appear to have moved forth into Middenland to take advantage of the Middenlander view that the Emperor's edict probably misplaced. So they might not be able to burn their way through Reichland, but they are quite happy to do so through Middenland. That leaves an obviously uncomfortable feeling amongst many. Others are quite happy about it. There are quite a few stalls set up selling your own burning effigies. Little bits of fluff coming out the top of it. This is your own burning man, and this one here, you buy your own burning man if you wish to do so. This one here, it's got an extra leg. And it's actually hilarious because it's the source of clearly jokes amongst everybody as they're making their way around. Much less of a joke when you see the individual burning on the pyre. That quietened quite a few people. And the extra leg was coming out of the hip, and it was twisted and broken. It wasn't even a real leg. But the burning effigy, well, that was very humorous. Real burnings, they're fine, right? And it's interesting, the tone that the crowds have had. The crowd of the tone is very, well, the tone of the crowd is very much, why do we need Southerners to do our burnings? We could be doing this ourselves. And there's a slight tension with all these Sigmarites wandering around, clearly with twiddling thumbs from what they're not allowed to do down Reichland way and moving north. There's also a slight undercurrent that it's just an imposition of imperial will through a different route. They may be standing arguably against the mutant edict, but they are most certainly imposing southern values northwards. And there's a certain amount of disgruntlement about that. No deep tensions, no great worries, but the smell alone, it's enough to not feel entirely bad that you're leaving Gerhardt behind for a few days to go and go somewhere else. It's not a comfortable place to stay. The good father had something that he really wanted to see. And he's a charming man. He's pretty convincing. And those burnings are also pretty convincing. Particularly when, 2 hours after leaving off Gerhardt, there's a big hubbub outside on the streets as they're dragging their first witch up. A college wizard. Or so he appears. He's claiming to be one. They're claiming he's not. He has no proof that he's a college wizard. He has no proof with his papers. He has no proof that he is anything other than a charlatan, and he has been spotted doing spells. The Sigmarites have dragged him up, and that's somewhat uncomfortable, made worse when 10 minutes later, 3 Sigmarites with books, small books, strapped to their foreheads with leather straps come in and demand papers from Ulric. You have them. Demand papers from the elf.
I have them.
You have them. They're not happy. But they're, well, right. Good. And out they go. One of them sticks his head back in the door again, looks around, and calls back, "No, there's no more." And then you hear, in particular, our elf and our priest, the call of, "There's going to be an elf here that doesn't have one."
It's terrifying.
Yeah. Leaving doesn't seem like such a bad idea at all. Now, obviously, you don't realise that you're leaving your good friend Gerhardt in the perhaps not so capable hands of Sigfeder. That's for Gerhardt to try out later. Lucky him. The remainder of the afternoon is basically getting out of town. And that's how we find ourselves on the road. Nobody has really questioned properly as to where we're going, mostly because it's not where you've been. And the town could have been lovely, but it wasn't. Making your way through the gates, no problems at all. One of the great joys of having yourself both a wizard with paperwork.
A very carefully secured license.
I'm just holding on to that one as we make our way around.
Maybe you should take a leaf out there, but we can strap it to your forehead.
And out in the trees, one of you, I'll let you decide exactly whom it is, eventually pipes up and asks where you're going. Now, who's with you? Taking a baby away from the barge. Yeah, no. Greta will be staying behind.
What about
At the barge.
Marguerite, though? Because she is also a witch.
Yes, she's not going to be leaving the barge at all. Now, the barge isn't in the town where you are.
Great.
So, it's in a far smaller town somewhere, I would say, not even a town, it's a village called Keppin, which is on the River Beld. Beld? My words this evening. The River Deld. And you had to hike all the way down through the forest over towards the Drakenstadt. And you got there and found it the way that it is.
So she's going to be safe.
Yes, Bloodhilda
she does
equally
have a license
won't
to
be
get.
going
Yeah, she
anywhere.
does,
Yes,
yeah.
she does have
And
a license.
she's in charge of barge defence anyway.
Now, Keppin's a
With
far smaller place as well, so you imagine there'll be no issues there at all. It's the big towns that the Sigmarites are apparently targeting.
for the moment.
So, you are, I think, by yourselves, bar one. Jiro. Jiro, your ever-present shadow, who is quite happy scowling at these... I mean, he doesn't use the word barbarian. His face, though. His face is quite clear that he has nothing but absolute disrespect for what is happening here. He does not approve with the local customs. He does not approve with the burnings. He does not approve with any of this. But he equally doesn't approve with mutants. But he doesn't think burning them is the way to resolve it. At all. It's just inhuman. You can kill them and then burn their corpses. You can kill them as humanely as possible. I could... Yeah. You should kill yourself, really.
That's what I was going to say.
I mean, that's...
Yeah, like-
You know that's what he thinks. The fact that they have to be brought kicking, screaming, it just says something about these people. And his nose frequently raises, his lip curls. He is not happy. But again, he also doesn't say much. Occasionally, in Nipponese, he'll say something disapproving in your direction if he thinks you're putting yourself in danger. Which, you're very presence here. Pretty much.
Yeah,
It's a constant stream of Nipponese then.
No, he did it once. He's not the sort to belabor a point. He will state his disapproval when he is then told some equivalent of shut up. He will He is with you. That's it. So who's going to bring up the question?
I think Birdie would ask that question.
Go, Birdie.
So exactly where are we going? This is very naturey.
Well, yeah, on account of it not being a town or a city. We're going to the place of the Shining Rock.
Yeah, you keep saying that, but
Well, it's another like sacred site, but it's much like the flame. It's sacred both to Ulric and also to Sigmar.
are you allowed near that one?
Yes,
Oh,
yeah, we are allowed.
cool.
Because in fact, this one is protected by a Sigmar order rather than an Ulrican one. So.
Oh, they're gonna have a problem with me then.
No. So the Order of the Shining Rock, they're like mediators. That's their thing. They, if anything, we need them more now than ever. They're about trying to find peace between Ulricans and Sigmarites and
Good luck with that.
Reichlanders and Doggers and
Mutants and non-mutants.
Well, yeah.
What if they're gone a bit mad like the rest of them?
Well, then we'll nip in, nip out. Exit sharpish.
We're
But
stuck
it's
between a shining rock and a hard place.
well done. Yeah.
Credits.
Very good. We're done. Episode over.
Why is it
My
called
God.
the Shining Rock?
So, well, because by all accounts, and I've not been there yet. I've wanted to visit in the past, but never quite managed to make it. That's why this is perfect. It's almost. I'm not going to say it.
No.
I'm
It's
not going to
almost
say
as
it.
if it's on the way to where we're going.
Yeah.
And it's no more
Yes, exactly.
significant than that.
And yes, no, nothing more. I'm not even going to finish that thought. But yeah, there is, by all accounts, an actual literal shining rock there, a large sort of spar of it, and it's so the Ulricans believe that Ulric himself wielded this to sort of slay hundreds of demons, long time ago, and it sort of, and then when he was done killing the demons, sort of chucked it, and that's where it landed. And then he went and got Blitzspiel because the chaos had apparently taken Blitzspiel. Some might say was careless of him, but yeah. That's what they say. And then it became a place that was like
What is Blitzspiel?
Ulric's axe, the one that, according to Ulrican myth and tradition, is what lopped the top off of the great mountain where Middenheim is. and
What does
revealed the Silver
Blitzspiel
Flame.
mean?
Blitzspiel, like war something, warbringer, war.
You got opening.
I don't.
I'm quite happy with you.
I don't. War something. I'm sure, or fast something, or
Right.
Would Birdie know that?
smacky axe. I don't.
You don't have the direct lore either, I think, so
I've got
probably
Lord
not.
Middenheim, so
Yeah, that's not going to
Oh.
tell you obscure meanings of words.
Lore Ancient Empire.
No, predates it.
There.
Sadly,
There.
a big good one.
Lore Theology.
Um,
Lore philosophy?
Lore History.
supernumerate.
how many advances have you got? How many advances have you got in good old theology?
That is a good question. I have in good old theology. I think 20.
Then I've already got the answer. Then
20.
It's no. Oh yeah. Have you been Ulrican? Yes, but you're not.
Fair enough.
Yeah. I'll have that.
I still don't have Lord.
I've got Lord Middenheim as well.
Birdie has it.
Yeah. So,
Yeah, I don't exactly know.
Why is it now for Sigmarites as well?
Well, so the Ulricans, there's more. Like they believe that happened, but then because this was a sacred place, when they all came down, when all the Teutonicans were sort of swarming through, this is the place, the last place where, so they say, Ulric manifested directly, spoke directly to his people, and it's where he turned them from the sort of ravening hordes that they had been before into the sort of honourable people that they became. It's where there was a pact made between the Teutonians and Ulric. And so it became like a place of relative peace. I'm going to say, massacres never happened there, but massacres rarely happened there. So it was
That is a low
definitely
bar.
but compared to what, back in the day,
It is a peaceful place.
Massacres.
Massacres rarely happen.
but they have but back in the day, the you couldn't travel through here if you weren't a Teutonic because they ambush you and attack you. But this was the one place where if you were going to try and have a treaty with them, have a meeting with them, a summit, a moot, that's where you would go. That was the one place. Sigmarites have their own. So the Southern Sigmarites see it as a separate thing. My order and some of the Northern Sigmarites see the two as not necessarily incompatible. But to the Sigmarites, the place became sacred to Sigmar because long before he became Sigmar the god, before he even became Sigmar the chieftain and got the hammer, Galmaraz, or any of that.
What does that mean?
What does what mean?
Galmaraz.
Probably big hammer.
I've got language Casaland.
You do.
Skull splitter. Yeah. It's like, I had briefly forgotten, but it came back to me. Skull splitter. Yep. Skull splitter.
Excellent. I will write it in my notebook.
Lovely. I thought we'd gone through the names of all that. Maybe when we did the rune fangs, maybe we missed
I
that.
think we did Gamma.
Oh, God. Entirely lost my thread. That's all right.
Sigmar before he was a
Sigmar,
chieftain.
yes.
Yeah.
And he was just the chieftain's son at that point, and he was being sent over to treat with the Thuringians, who were the people who lived in the Drakwald, the ancient Drakewalders. While there, he was beset by beastmen, a ravening horde of beastmen, and he found himself there. That's where stories kind of differ depending which branch of Sigmarism is sort of telling the story, whether, Sigmar came into just his own raw, awesome power and slew all these beastmen, or whether Ulric inspired Sigmar to come into his awesome power and slay all these beastmen. Mm-hmm. And so it became sacred to Sigmar there. And indeed, some of the Sigmarites believe he literally took that weapon that in the Ulrican myth, Ulric used to kill all the demons, to kill all the beastmen.
But if
This piece of rock.
Sigmar became a deity and time is less meaningful in the Aether, does that not mean he was always a deity and therefore could have inspired himself?
I mean, maybe. Maybe.
Is this commonly discussed in your cult?
So
Not
open-minded.
really, probably. In very small groups, in very hushed corners. Yeah. But not openly and not commonly. But I think as well, there is strong tradition in the evidence that he was, as a mortal, very much devout to Ulric and very much a worshipper of Ulric.
Does that mean Ulric is Sigmar and Sigmar is just an aspect of the king of the gods?
That would be quite heretical. I think Sigmarites and Ulricans.
Be funny though.
I don't need a lore theology to check that one.
I think that's fair.
What about that story you told us about the twin?
Well, quite. I mean,
Could that have happened here though?
Maybe.
Is that
Remind myself what the story was about.
Was that the Ulric?
When
Putting his
Sigmar
twin
went
in
to speak to Ulric,
Oh, Sigmar had a twin.
yeah.
Is
If this was like before everything happened.
I mean, it's interesting, isn't it? Because it's another example of like a parallel between Sigmar's story and Ulric's story.
If Sigmar was Ulric, then what did he just give himself a pep talk in the mirror? Like
No, because when Sigmar was on this plane of existence, much like Mamethia, he would have been separated from the divine power. So therefore, while he was here, he would have just been Sigmar. So therefore, he could have been both Ulric in his past and Sigmar in his future, but Sigmar for the time he was here.
You could have just said it was a shiny rock. I'd have been okay.
was it shiny before?
It's much later in the story when he was told to cast aside his twin. It was when he was ruling. He spoke to our Ulric for advice about ruling, and that was when he was given the advice.
So she would still have been with him here then?
Yes.
Well, not necessarily, because his whole family weren't with him. Like, he was leading the delegation.
I don't think you've ever had a twin.
You're quite right.
I would suspect she would have been with him.
But she may have also been sent on a separate, important mission.
I don't think you've ever had a twin.
But also, all right, I'm not even going to argue. I don't know. She does not exist in any of the published mythology. We've only seen reference to her in the carvings buried beneath a temple, which may be under a malign influence. So,
Or may have been changed.
Yes, let's.
Good one.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, or may not have been changed.
Also a good one.
Both
Maybe.
winners.
Yeah, exactly. It may have both been changed and not changed.
It could
Yeah.
be Ulric.
What?
Well, Marguerite was telling us, wasn't she? That every creature in the Aether has a physical representation, and the size of your might in the Aether has no bearing on what you are here. So you could
she-
find a great demon
she
in the Aether that
did
here could just be
Talk about massive spirits
A stone.
in stones, didn't she?
Mhm.
But that's one. So beyond the fact that I've always wanted to go, I've always wanted to visit, and circumstances have always conspired against me that it's never been possible. I particularly want to go now, right? Because this is a place where there are conflicting stories about what happened, and now I'm in a situation where sometimes I can see what happened.
Have your bones told you anything about coming here?
Would he have done an augury?
No, he hasn't. He just got out of town fast.
Yeah.
He might want to do one when he's away from them all, just in
Yeah.
case they mistook it for something else.
Yeah.
You just can't trust them.
Yeah, or if I suddenly start babbling something, and
And then suddenly they all rally behind you like you're a cult leader and it's all gone wrong.
exactly. Like it would be terrible if I were to kind of roll one of those and end up shouting something out that got us all in
Gag
trouble.
him! Cover
Like-
his ears! Don't let him speak! Put him on a pole! He's our leader!
I hope that doesn't happen in 5 days' time.
It's fine. For now we've got plot armor.
Yeah.
But in 5
Yeah.
days,
Yeah.
consider it.
We're fucked.
I mean, that's a good question. We left in such a hurry. I mean, if we want to crouch down for a moment, I can. Although
Well-
really, it's when you get there that
Yeah.
I would do the augury.
You want to see it in front of you,
Yeah.
get an idea, or at least
Yeah.
however it manifests, you have no
Yeah.
idea.
No.
You just
Yeah.
know that it is deep down in the
Yeah.
Drakwald Deeps. It's within the forest, and you've never been.
No.
You just know the general direction.
and it's had this long history being the place where, between the Thuringians and the Teutognans and the Umberogans, like this was the place you would come to meet, to discuss treaties, to discuss, it's why the Order of the Shining Rock is so focused on mediation, on peacemaking, on that kind of thing. Ironically, they're slightly frustrated with my order because the High Capitular himself is something of a mediator, and they feel that he's maybe treading on their toes. So the one person they don't like being mediated. I'm sure there's some situational irony there somewhere.
Do
But
they have a small shining rock that they pass around so that
What is the High Capitular called?
Werner Stoltz.
was the rock shiny before all the killing of demon/beastmen?
I don't know, because in Beastman, yes, like it was shining when Sigmar got there. Ulric, I don't know, because it got there because he discarded it. So where he got it from, I don't know if that's clear in the myth.
Not the
Yeah.
version that you've heard.
Yeah.
You've accurately
Yeah.
Yeah.
described
It
exactly
would
what
be
you know
cool
there.
if we got shiny, but also very unfortunate if we were trying to be stuff. So,
Yeah. That is true.
Maybe
Handy for you guys to see in the dark, though, I suppose.
But don't you say that birdie shines to your vision?
Yeah, that's true.
Does
Don't go
this only
tasting
shine to
this
holy
one,
people,
Matt.
or does it shine for everyone?
I think it shines for everyone.
What, the rock?
The rock, yeah.
we'll find
But
out.
it might
It's
shine
the shining
more
rock.
for holy people.
Yeah,
Yeah.
me. You don't know. You've never seen it.
But I don't know. Never
No.
been there.
You've
Well,
never.
Mm.
You're never going to see it.
Yeah.
oh.
Oh, just a moment. Like realization.
Hopefully you have a
Luitpold.
vision.
Hushing is mellow.
It's feeling so good.
Aw.
I'm going to go and see.
Perceive it. I'm going to go perceive it.
Yeah. You end up walking along the main Altdorf Middenheim road for a good 10 miles. There are a few points worth noting. It is a relatively busy road, and in that 10-mile walk, a quick stop to grab yourself a bite to eat. You are passed by coaches about 10 times. It's a busy road. The road itself is mostly, not entirely, paved. It has been for almost 2,500 years. It was originally organized by the dwarfs as part of their great big empire building project when Sigmar first took the throne of the nascent empire as it was going to be. And the main cities were connected by dwarven roads. These roads to this day still exist. Many of them are broken down in places. Some of them have been repurposed for buildings locally. So the roads sometimes turn to mud and then back towards dwarf-made passageways and then into something else again. It's also fair to say that large parts of these roads, you've walked them before, are often maintained by locals badly or differently. Badly if you take the dwarf view.
And I guess, like, ironically, they're probably worse the closer you are to, like, towns, and human influence has only degraded what the dwarfs were.
Indeed.
Yeah.
And
Wear it
here
down.
it's not too bad. The road is a bit overgrown, but we're in high summer, so a lot of it's sort of fallen back in places because it's been hot for a few days, and there's not been any rainfall for a good couple of weeks. Pass a couple of villages, no burnings. That's nice.
Good.
That's
Again, it's a low bar, right?
that's the bar you've reached. No burnings. Until eventually you arrive at the rather innocuous small sign. Place of the Shining Rock. Spelled correctly. Nice.
So you tell me.
And Alice said as well, the Place of the Shining Rock. And underneath it in 2 other languages. You're going to guess it could be Place of the Shining Rock.
Alamenois is going to take a note of all 4. This is my Rosetta
She
Stone.
She glides up for her Rosetta Stone.
What
to
are these
mark-
other languages? What alphabet do they use?
You're guessing
Ask
that
the
one of
blind
them.
guy. He has no idea.
You're
He can't see it.
guessing that one of them is probably. I'm guessing.
Oh, okay.
I'm not
Unberigan?
seeing. You're
Yeah.
guessing one is probably
Unberigan?
going to be Unberigan, an old Unberigan. The other one's probably Teutognan. Although you know that locally they prefer Teutognan. They don't like it to be Teutognan. That's a bit too scholastic for them, apparently.
Do they use the same
Alphabet. Yes.
alphabet?
They've got a couple of different characters, however. The alphabet presents itself slightly different.
This is exciting.
Obviously, he can't. He doesn't have those languages, but we'll have seen those languages. Can
Yes.
Luitpold tell Alamenoith a couple of particular characters to look out for?
Yes, for example, an F. And there is indeed an F sitting on it. There's also a thorn. 2 different letters that he passes out.
This
Yep.
is exciting. I like it.
Indeed.
Is everybody seeing the same sign here?
Shining Rock.
Yep.
I wonder how you say it in Teutognan and Unberigan. If
That-
I tell you the letters, will you be able to pronounce it in Unberigan? You don't know Unberigan.
I can pronounce it in Casalid.
Oh, do that then.
You want to make a roll to see how well I do it?
Yeah, go for it.
Would any of us know if it's good or bad?
3 successes?
Yeah, pretty good.
Yeah.
Or, I mean,
One success.
One success. It might actually be 0 if you've only got 5
Double
advances.
check. No. I made sure when I rebuilt him, I took at least 10
10,
in all the
nice.
languages and lures.
Good
I-
success.
I shall
Ten.
take a note
Good
in
success,
my
good pass.
dwarven
Solid.
lexicon.
Love it.
You know, I could just teach you it, right? Is it more fun this way?
Yes.
Do you want me to actively start throwing you red herrings? Or
No.
no?
What do you throw fish are?
Yeah.
She doesn't like eating meat.
I didn't say dead herrings. I said red herrings.
I think she does.
What?
Eat meat. Oh,
Yeah.
no, she was too caught up in what she was saying. She didn't even hear you.
Are you talking about me?
No.
No, just fish.
We're discussing whether fish were meat.
Of course, fish is me.
Even when it's alive?
Yes. It's a strange. What would it be when it was alive?
Red,
Plant?
apparently.
Alive.
It'd still be meat.
Somewhere, I mean, if Gerhardt were here, I'm sure he would say philosophically there was a distinction.
That's
But he's not.
He's not.
So let's not talk about that.
The road is clearly well worn, frequently used, or at least anciently used, and has never really grown back. The trees themselves are relatively close to it, and it makes, even though it's a relatively late evening, summer's day, but still bright, the day's very long just now, it makes the journey a little bit darker than the one you were on previously when you're on the main road, where the trees are often cleared back from either side, although it does come in the further away you get from some of the towns, and then it clears back again as you get closer and closer. All of that leads one possibly into a slight danger, I am going to allow you a perception test, you a perception test, you a cringe from the sun test. No, it's not even a test at all. Yeah, you're out your element, and you a perception test, please.
If you think about it, I'm already half vampire.
Is it hearing related?
Yes.
7 successes.
What kind of state are we in?
I think we're in the state of Middenheim.
Is it a
Province.
challenging
Calm
test?
province.
Or is it nice and calm?
Oh, absolutely. We've got more than enough time to
So
take
6
our time.
successes.
Superb.
2 successes.
2 successes.
Human power.
Human power. I've got all turtle power in my head. Right. So beyond our turtle power, you got 2. 6.
6.
6. You got 6. You got 2. Loser. So 6.
Harsh.
Fair. This entire route is clearly well worn. The trees are old. You would argue some of these trees are quite ancient. And about half an hour into this side road, you pass by the first truly ancient tree. You think this one is, judging by the feel of it, judging by the gyron running through it. You sense it almost half a mile before you get to it. There's an ancient tree spirit there. There's no doubt that's an ancient tree spirit.
Familiar in terms of where he grew up, like
There was a lot of those around. Now, most of them slept. They very rarely shifted. You were taught when you were young that there was ways to awaken them. But this one is clearly an old tree spirit. The tree itself is gnarled, twisted, thick, with heavy bark that's broken off in multiple places. Many animals have clearly used it to rub horns against or some equivalent. It's broken away near its bottom lower levels. And as you pass by, you can feel its malevolence. It is not happy for whatever reason. You can sense it. It's palpable in the air to you. The gyron here has somewhat soured. You're possibly a bit concerned, but equally, you are utterly incapable of doing anything about it other than noting it, particularly given that this spirit, if it is ancient, is probably, you don't even know how to put time to it. It's old.
Nothing like this before, because in the Dead Hills or
Barn Hills.
there was just absence.
Correct.
There wasn't any kind of twisting. It was,
Now, you're aware that there are many broken stone circles, Ogham circles, that have caused magic to swirl, stagnate, and twist spirits. It makes you concerned that there is somewhere out there where possibly one of the local stone circles has gone wrong. Your folk very much believe that they were put in place by the gods. The colleges contradict that and claim they were put in place by the elves.
Alamenowite, are you getting any sense of anything about that tree there?
Alamenowite, on your side, passing by it. Now, at best, this does nothing more than bring back memories of being taunted again and again when you were up in the Laurelorn. Because you were less than a child. You understood less than a child. You walked like a human. They laughed at you. But here, there's no one else to laugh at you. They don't know that you have no idea what this is. But you have no idea what this is. But you do know that it's not like the other trees. That's about as much as you know on this one. You can, however, spot something different. Off in the tree line and beyond, the animals have gone quiet. They're not silent, but they're subdued. It's almost as if they're in a state of pause, waiting to go.
The tree doesn't feel like the others, but can you feel the animals? It's like they're holding their breath, waiting for something.
Father Luitpold. It's almost like a trigger that's been pulled. And you're like, oh. your tall, lean body stretches itself out, and yeah, you can hear the lack of here. You're not sure if it's much of a lack because you don't really have a lot to compare it to. You're not the most foresty of people.
And certainly hasn't been since he got his acute sense here.
Yeah, quite. So you can't decide whether you're convincing yourself of this or not. There are the few things you can say for certain. There's people out there. Yeah, there's definitely people out there. You can sense them. They're off deep in the forest somewhere. They're definitely out there, though. There are people out there somewhere. It's different. The rolling land of the trees.
So they're not like stalking us or...
Totally. They're out there somewhere. Now, as you have learned to your own detriment, going off beyond the tree line is rarely a good idea. You had in your head this feeling of, well, it'll just be 2 miles this way, won't it? Oh, crevasse! Going right now! Up, down! Yeah, just not cool.
Multiply that by 10 when you're blind.
Yeah, indeed. And that is somewhere where they lie in amongst the crevasse. Up, down, thickets of tree that's out there. But there's definitely folk out there. One of them's blessed. You don't know by what. You can feel the halo of divinity wrapped around them somewhere. Off to the north of this particular path.
I mean, is it possible that this path will wend round that will
might.
take us to the... Yeah.
It might.
I mean, I can feel people out there, far away, but out there, and there's somebody blessed out there. And it may be where we're going, I don't know, but if not, there's a community.
Do you think the animals are waiting to see if the tree kills us and whether they'll get a chance to feed?
I think whatever it is contained at the moment. It's not, as we're getting close, I've not sensed anything.
Oh, no. But there's a small part of you that thinks that skirting around it might be wise, just in case.
With Alamino saying that the animals seem paused, does this remind him of anything around Corbret as his mother's hut? No.
Not really, no. It's not the same thing. It's a bit different. And not just a bit different, it's completely different.
I think we're relatively safe, but I'd probably just not go very close to it.
It creaks alarmingly as you pass, Father. Now, perhaps it's just your sensitive ears. It's just the bark seems to... It's almost like it's a ship and it's caught in the wind and it's creaking slightly.
Can these tree spirits move?
Yeah, some of them apparently will take... You remember, when you were young, being told the story of the tree that walked Drakwald Deep. The kids that you never saw apparently referred to it as one of the tree folk, or one of the old folk, or one of the forest kin. But apparently it was a birch, and a very old, sizable birch. And it only walked at night when those around were not paying that much attention. Does a tree walk in the wood if no one sees it? Well, it did move frequently. And once it woke up with its roots right through someone. And the tree was just there and the body was half out of it.
Yeah, sometimes they can move. But
let's maybe pick up the pace of it.
Got more lore, so like the idea of trees wandering around in magical areas.
There are multiple
in different ways. Some of them are like trees that move, and some of them are like that guy she met on the road who was a tree. I met one of the treekin. He was wandering.
Trees move. This is just.
But you also get trees that move. They're different.
Let's just pick up the pace.
And some of the spirits can leave the trees and...
Pardon?
Is this the only? Is everyone walks this path? We're not off.
This is
strange that no one else would.
Well, we are particularly sensitive to these things. Sometimes the spirits leave the trees as well. There's very many ways for trees to move.
Or in the pond, for example, they're usually quite sleepy. Like the bigger the spirit is, the more sleepy it is.
Yes, and the more magic there is, so the elven forest will have more spirits that walk because there's more magic flowing through that area.
And do you think as we approach the end times, then more of these will wake up?
Oh, you would think so. It is summer for them. Did I not tell you of that? Oh, I met one and he said this is just because they are trees, they measure their life in millennia. And times like this are times of joy for them, for summer has come and they are awake and alive.
Maybe you just
witness
woke
the
up
end times.
grumpy.
Not
No,
really.
but they're not the end times because they come again and again. Soon it will be winter again for him. But the ruinous powers take advantage of the seasons of the world. The end times that the ruinous powers want are separate to the end times, which is the summer of the world when it is alive and vibrant and fresh. But that is when the ruinous powers are as awake as the other spirits, as powerful. Why they are times of danger, but in and of themselves they are times of joy for the tree spirits.
On the other side, as you pass by this tree, you spot that high up in the branches on the side, 3 wolves hang by their necks.
Oh,
I think they've gone a bit weird, Father.
on that.
Just on that tree,
Oh,
on the
on
other
that
side.
tree.
No, wait, that's
On
what
that tree.
that's what the Ulricans in Ulricans in Delberz. They had a allusion to a similar thing. The elf who had murdered the Ulricans by putting them in a tree, and here we find a tree with more wolves hanging from it. It's a pattern that keeps repeating.
There is another detail. So this place that is both sacred to Ulricans and sacred to Sigmarites is also particularly sacred to the sons of Ulric, because they believe that this is where he's going to come back and see them.
Maybe the tree's unhappy about the wolf corpses. Maybe we should take it down.
Probably just best to not go near it unless Alamenoid can shoot an arrow through a piece of water, a rope.
Shoot arrows.
Unless Alamenoid can shoot an arrow. If I wanted someone to blow the tree up.
You may.
You think Joro could do
I bet he's just.
Yumi's gonna take her fan out and like, I'll show you, and then she'll square up.
I
And
don't think it's a good idea.
Wouldn't you have to get quite close to use those?
no. Let me try
Do
from
you want to
here.
upset the spirit? Do you want to upset the spirit, Your Royal Highness? He says in an opinion.
Yeah.
You to the side.
That's
He
some
looked
language.
appalled. And what have you missed? How many times have you missed as we've trained? How many times have you missed, Your Imperial Highness?
But if I'm going to get
As well, burn it! He says, strike it through with your blade. Why not draw it now? Just plunge it directly into the bark between the seams.
what are you doing about it then?
Nothing.
Why not?
It has
Clearly
nothing to do with me. This is their people and their spirits.
But we live here too. This
You
is our world as
live
well.
here.
He's done.
Apparently I'm not allowed.
I do not think
Do
we
I need
should-
to punch him? He sounded very rude.
No, I don't think you'd be successful.
I think we do not understand. Perhaps it is a local custom to appease the tree. We do not know anything about this.
Yeah.
We should move on.
I think
The elf speaks sense. He says as he walks off.
Did you see that in Reichspiel?
Nope.
Like there's a moment there he could have actually built some bridges with the party, and he's deliberately not. What a dick!
He has no interest in that in the slightest, quite clearly. Are we moving on?
What did you find him?
he found. I asked for him, really.
Regrets?
Monkey paw situation. Right?
Yeah.
It's our father's best friend.
Oh.
Sorry, he.
It's.
I get mixed up with pronoun.
Hmm.
We have more.
Charming. Really charming.
He's nicer to my dad.
Does he understand everything we say?
Yeah, of course.
Why doesn't he talk? It must be
Because
really
he-
boring.
Because he thinks you're beneath him, probably.
I mean, I am pretty small. But...
and Greta has taunted him relentlessly.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, I think that ship has sailed long ago. Friendship.
Maybe we should learn Nipponese and we can chat to him
Mhm.
and say nice trousers.
You could
Are
chat
his
to him.
trousers particularly nice?
Not bad, are they? What
Oh,
kind
I
of
don't
trousers do you have?
We all turn and look
He
at
has
his trousers.
very impressive, very
know.
Does he wear
different.
like
yeah, he's
almost like-
he's in complete Nipponese garb.
yeah?
Yeah.
We just
Yeah,
got the vision of we
Are
all
you
just
no,
saying
turn.
you
please.
want to see his trousers?
I can just see them poking out underneath the bottom. Good trim.
It takes another half an hour, or eventually our road widens and drops down into an open valley. At the bottom of the valley, there's a river making its way through a scattering of trees. And what you presume is probably, okay, it could be, no. Well, there's 3 buildings. As to which one it is, to begin with, you've no idea at all. Because each and every one of those 3 is holy, which is difficult.
Mm.
Building number 1, for those of you who are not blind, is a single-story building. Looks like it's a relatively poorly maintained, let's call it, large hovel. That's perhaps a little unfair, but large hovel maybe isn't unfair. That's what it looks like at a distance. But again, you're townsfolk. And this is out in the middle of the wild for yourself. By comparison, it's a relatively sizable little forest hut that's sitting off to the side. The next one is much larger. An almost classic imperial building, but an old one showing stylings that are old enough that it looks like it's an old-fashioned building. But it's not so old that it's falling apart, splitting at the seams, for example.
If only Gerhardt were here. He's so good with architectural style.
And finally, a stone building. This, by comparison, could not be more different to the rest. It doesn't look like any building that you typically see in the Empire. It's made of piled stone and has a rough door, which is only about 4 foot high at the front. The entire building itself is pretty rough in general. It looks like it's probably been rebuilt multiple times, or at least had its stones repositioned, they collapsing off towards the edge. It perhaps bears more in common with a very large cairn than it does perhaps with a temple or a chapel. What you find most interesting, though, is that there's a holy order supposedly here. They're either living in a hovel, the slightly larger building, which doesn't look like it would house an entire order of anything, or this sizable cairn, which doesn't look very hospitable in the slightest. But it does look large enough to hold people.
I mean, they
Pretty big.
could be quite a small order.
So you could.
Well, that
the
is a
doors-
very small door.
Yeah, 4 feet high.
But that's not all that's down there, because you are not the only visitors. Off towards the side of the large cairn, long cairn-like building, there is a nondescript coach. 4 horses sitting to the front. I say nondescript because there are no identifying markers. There are no clear heraldic devices. There's also no coaching house markers, so it's difficult to tell where that comes from. However, there's a bit of a giveaway. The 112 knights.
You could have led with that, Andy.
112 knights.
What's with no markings on it? That's so strange.
I can't
Maybe
see
the markings
it,
are hidden by
they're
then.
all nuts.
All of their horses and their encampment approximately half a mile away from it. But there are a lot of knights here.
What kind of
And
night?
6 are right up at this main cairn, and they're stopped close. Now, they're far enough away that only those of you with acute sense vision, you may do some perception test.
Can I hear what they might be saying?
I can get onto that in a moment.
Do Do they
Oh.
smell particularly or something?
Oh, fellow knight of Ulric.
8 successes.
Nice.
Yes, you can identify several markings, and they're also markings you recognize because you've seen knights wearing these markings in Altdorf. In particular, one of the ones that's sitting to the front, his helmet is shaped like so down to a point, heart-shaped.
Oh,
Knights of the Fiery Heart. Sigmar, you've no doubt. Particularly given hearts, red hearts, hang across the barding of the horses. Down in the main tents, bless their little souls. There's hearts everywhere. Do yourself a willed power check.
I might need to use a
You
fortune
can't.
can I take my time?
No,
Is it willpower or cool?
it's willpower.
Oh no.
1 failure.
Here's the heart of Avalon. As a memory flashes through your mind. And her face goes white. You didn't see a face, you didn't see anything, you just heard a voice and something being passed you. Perfect heart. A crystal.
Oh.
As she is processing that, an encampment, quite some distance down. Bend your way down towards those 3 buildings. There's outside of the main cairn a couple of individuals who you presume may be priests. Difficult to tell at this distance. Acute sense hearing. You can hear quite clearly there's a lot of people down there. As your head's almost moving from side to side as you're catching the different sounds in the wind. The river's making it difficult to pick it out. It's burbling away, damned river. The trees swaying in the half, almost non-existent wind are even interfering. The creak of that tree in the distance. The sound of a wolf in the distance. Then, you catch 1 fragment. How many successes did you get?
Oh, I haven't rolled yet.
Let's roll. You might catch no fragment.
3 successes.
Oh, yeah, I'll give you a fragment out of that. One night. How long are we going to be out? I don't even understand why we've been here for so long, sir. And the other one's saying, shut it. Shut it. We'll be here as long as we have to be here. Oh, this is intolerable. Intolerable. I mean, do they even realize who we are? And he says, well, we received our orders, so someone wants us here. So we're here. As it all burbles into the rest.
Heart. Fiery heart.
Yeah, they've been ordered here. And they've been here for a while. But they don't know why.
I don't like it. Something is wrong.
Who are they?
Yeah.
Can we just I can sit down for a moment. Can I do an augury?
It's this side of
Sit down and maybe do a quick
I'm gonna love fire.
throw the holy bones.
Isn't that something in one of our flashbacks about the fiery heart?
It does ring a bell.
Is it an early Valentine's Day episode?
Pass. But only a pass means all you can tell me is good, bad, or neutral.
Neutral.
Yeah.
Interesting.
bloody neutrals.
Neutral.
Yeah. It's not good, which is disappointing.
But that might
Not
mean that
bad, which is gratifying and good to know. But
neutral
it's-
could be neutral, or neutral could be good and bad simultaneously, right?
Yeah, absolutely. The bones.
So, like, it could be that the place is good, but the people are bad?
Yeah.
Or the place is
Ah.
bad and the people are good?
So unhelpful.
So like an average.
The bones.
Yeah.
As you look down towards them, clearly show that this place is possibly dangerous and is not ill-omened or a bringer of good fortune. Down there, presumably, in one of those 3 buildings, is the shining rock. And yet again, you're so slightly bummed out. You're not going to see it.
But I
But
might see it
see
to my
it.
holy vision.
And that would just make everything perfect. So maybe you will.
Yeah.
There is a lot of knights, but they are quite separate from everything. Camped out some distance away over in one of the depths of the river.
But some of them are by the building.
The only ones are in front of the what I presume is the oldest building there,
Yes.
the potential
Correct.
cairn.
Yes, yes.
And this carriage wasn't, well, we might not remember, but does it kind of look like one of the ones that passed us by? You said 10 carriages passed us earlier.
No. They were coaching house carriages, so they're a little bit like seeing a number 43 passing by.
The blessed
Good old Wolf Runner coaches, for example.
the blessed priest or blessed presence that I picked earlier.
Mhm.
Is that in amongst?
You've no idea. It's all the place down there is holy. Yeah, it's
Got you.
it's
That's
difficult.
fair play. Yeah.
Just gonna look at Elric. Elric, is there anything unusual about me? The winds. Can you see anything?
Can he?
I require a difficulty 4 perception test.
But he'd be take his time, right?
Oh yeah, of course, absolutely. How many?
It's one fail, but if I had been
Ah,
yeah, I'll try a fortune point, but difficulty 4.
yeah, it's tough.
Yeah.
Tough ask.
Yeah, no.
Success, fail, or just
Fail.
fail. Yeah.
Fail.
And there is nothing that you sense appears untoward.
No, you look the same. Well,
Thank you.
you look different than what you used to look like, but you look the same as you have for the last wee while
Thank you.
with your strange eyes.
Can I ask a practical question? Just thinking about it, I hadn't really thought about it before. With us going here, is Luitpold going to be like dressed in his warrior priest attire? Probably,
Yeah.
because official business plus
Yeah,
also dangers on the
absolutely.
roads. So
And it's almost a
Yeah.
badge of safety.
Yeah.
Until you arrive at Delberz and you realise that perhaps it won't be the badge of safety
Yeah,
anymore.
exactly. And so
But
it's
at the
look like a
moment,
pauper. Look like a pauper. right
Yeah.
now, look like a warrior priest.
yeah, quite. But yeah, it's a badge of safety
Fair play.
and a badge of office, so to speak.
I might, while I've got the bones out, I might do a little divination.
Divination. What does the sign say?
They say something good for me.
So what does divination do when you
It
succeed?
gives me a reroll.
Superb. On. Do you have to specify what it's on?
No,
No. Okay. Nice.
yeah, I don't believe so. I'll double check.
Okay. Love
I
it.
believe so.
Can't go wrong with a good divination. As the good father stands back up again, pops his bones back into
Correctly
his
divine
pouch.
something of my future. If I hear my own divination,
Yeah.
I gain +1 reroll.
Good. So yes, you do hear your own divination. How the mighty have fallen. How the fallen grow mighty.
That's not good.
Best to just be in the middle then.
I mean, that does rather fit the augury, doesn't it?
So are you just going to stay here, or are we going to
No.
go down?
So let's just,
Yeah.
wits about us.
It takes about 3, 4, 5 minutes of walking, wending your way down before 6 knights peel off from the main encampment and start trotting their way over here. They are caparisoned for war. They are quite clearly ready to go. 2 at the back have lances raised.
Just trotting though.
Yeah, just trotting. Lord.
Yeah, no, not yelling like a war cry or anything like that.
No war cries. They have their helmets on, and each one of them is bedecked in various heart devices. There are tabards, and the barding is mostly white, trimmed in reds, with red hearts dotted around in a variety of places. Each one of them has a relatively impressive, let's call it, artistic piece upon their helm.
Bassinet.
Yeah, so it goes beyond the simple description of helmet towards one of them who quite clearly has what is presumed to be some sort of twin-tailed comet peeling off in that direction. Another one has a crown of hearts sitting around it, very possibly royal. And just in case you don't know what that means the related directly to one of the descendants of one of the electric. a royal, possibly, or just a very well-placed individual. You're not exactly up on the traditions of the Knights of the Fiery Heart because they keep them to themselves.
Would I, perhaps?
No, they keep them to themselves. If you're in the order, but you are not.
What are
Yeah,
These
that was
guys.
his question
Yeah.
from earlier.
yeah.
Who are they?
Yeah.
I mean, the Templars, essentially.
Yeah, Templars of Sigmar.
They're Templars of Sigmar.
Right.
What does that mean?
So they hunt down heretics.
No, because they're
No.
war, like they're knights.
They
They
are
guard
directly attached to the Grand Cathedral.
So they're like the military wing.
Oh, now that is quite important.
Mm.
So yeah, they're apparently they're directly attached to the Grand Cathedral. That does suggest that their orders will have come from there.
So when you say they are Templars, that means that they are charged to protect the Grand Cathedral or the
It's actually the
inhabitants
Knights
thereof.
Griffin. It's like they've got different jobs.
Bureaucracy, huh?
Yeah. You can almost feel that. Yeah, but no, but
Yeah, but no,
But so maybe
they're not really.
someone from the High Cathedral is here in the carriage.
Well, but I mean, the knights don't know why they've been ordered here.
Well, those knights didn't.
True.
Crown Boy pops up his helmet as he arrives, looks down and says, "Let me have a quick assessment of what he sees." Bright Wizard. Okay.
No, Elric's cloaked.
Cloaked Bright Wizard.
Yeah.
The cloak smouldering.
Takes the braces off.
Strangely lumpy.
That's just how hench he is. A trap, bro.
Wow, I'm not even sure how he's going to cope with this. And then
Lad with nice trousers.
Yeah, and you're very big, and an elf. Okay, this is an interesting group in general. As he comes up and surveys you all, you are clearly the leader here. Yeah, indeed. As he looks to you and he says, "And what is your business here, Pop?"
We're on a pilgrimage to see the Shining Rock.
I'm terribly sorry. You're going to have to, he says, delay your pilgrimage for 3 hours. You are very welcome, he says, to make your way down to, and he gestures over towards the side, the bottom of the valley, perhaps make camp. The evening is drawing in.
Do we have stuff for me?
Yeah, of course, yeah. Yeah. You're all prepped and ready to go. You're an adventuring band. The Jaegers.
Tiny band of adventurers.
Yes, quite.
Yes. Certainly, yes, if you can indicate a good camping spot to one of my
Yes.
party.
Well,
I would
I'm not.
suggest, he says, on the other side of the building, if you look down there, you see the 3 rocks that are standing up from. You don't see it? No, you don't. Who should I direct there?
Alabama has the best eyes.
Yes. And if you are to look down there, he says, in the nook of the river there, 3 rocks, boulders actually. I would suggest there that I won't upset the Ulric and contingent.
Do you want to upset the Ulric contingent?
Not particularly.
Good, that won't upset the Ulric and contingent.
Well, I heard him say it would.
They-
What time does the rock close at? When can we go?
You be quiet,
No.
he says. I challenge thee, he says as he pulls out his sword, to a duel.
Why?
My honor demands it, he says as he gets off his horse.
Apologize.
Apologize.
Why would you go for a duel if I asked a question?
Give me the answer to my challenge.
No. I will not accept a challenge for a duel.
At the back, you hear, Lord Cleric, do you really think this is wise? He's the Magister of the Orders. I don't care. The man is an idiot who clearly needs to be put into his place. He says, I'll slap him around a bit with my sword. He deserves it.
You'll be attacking an unarmed man, so if that's going to be your honor, go ahead.
My Lord Cleric, I believe that the terms of his employment forbid him accepting duels. Would an apology suffice?
I think I require a charm check from you. I do not like this situation in the slightest. He's so rude.
You should have one. Am I taking my time? Am I?
No, we are not. We are not the most. No,
Preach!
do not have
You've got your
advantage in
free
this.
reroll.
I will use my free reroll. No, that's still a fail.
But can you use a fortune point on it? Because it was a free reroll.
Technically, it's
Oh, it's a reroll, not a fortune
point.
point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you can
Yes, it
actually
is,
use
and
a
yes, you
fortune
can.
I mean, like,
Good call.
So close to passing. Wow.
There we
go. So it would only one success, but because I have etiquette cultists too, 2 successes.
Ooh.
Nice.
Very nice.
Very nice.
As he twists look at you from behind, says, nor did I wish to impose upon you. But, given the nature of the situation, he says, I'll take the apology then. Have him apologize.
He's a noble.
He's a noble. We have inadvertently.
It's either he's whipped or an apology. One or the other.
Technically, as a license holder, I'm classed as a noble. He has certain rights.
He does?
Yeah.
I have rights, goddammit.
I think experience here.
I'll take a whipping.
Apparently, he's happy with the whipping.
Oh. He says, you have a whip. Do you have a whip?
What is it?
It says, and
Unfortunately,
one of the ones with the lance at the back.
We're not traveling incognito anymore, are we?
I don't believe you're.
Well, we're not going to announce that we're working for the Jungfrau to Reiklander.
He's not here right now.
For the,
Fuck you up.
Well, of course, he's in the employment of a Reiklander noble.
yeah, the fake one. The fake one. He was Middenlander, wasn't he?
Pardon?
Correct. No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As to the side, one of the ones with the lance says, "Oh, well, I could fetch you a switch or something from the camp." He says, "Yes, you do that while we wait." I don't even know why you put up with this thing. He says, "I presume it comes from Talabicland."
He's a magister of the Bright College.
What of it? He's a witch, and we all know what should happen to witches, don't we?
Licensed witch.
He's a good man of the Empire, and I've fought by his side more than once.
Well, it's good that he'll take his whipping then.
Perhaps we should get
The
our
other
camp
one-
ready and we can come back for the whip.
No, he will stay here.
Right.
As the other one gulps off. Don't say anything.
Nice day. It's good weather.
Bright.
You hear our maneuvers?
See you. Do yourself a charm test. It is difficult.
So that'd be how many successes? Certainly 5.
Well, that's
He is
good.
very charming.
Yeah,
It might
Thank
be more than
goodness.
that. Certainly.
No, that's
I'm not
good.
I'm not public speaking, so yeah, just 5.
Looks at you. Yes, well, Manu.
Magnetic, you might say.
From the camp comes up 3. The one at the 4 has a particularly impressive helmet. It is a particularly impressive helmet. A great heart shape to the front, where his eye slit sits. And again, the twin tails leading out from it in silver and gold. The detailing is quite extraordinary. The armor is also quite extraordinary. Etched in the entire length of it, tip to toe, and you presume on Berrigan. Prayers, top to bottom. He glows to you.
Him
The
or his
halo
armor?
around his
Him.
arms and around his head is burning comets to your vision.
Mhm.
And to you, It's almost your Zack Snyder moment, as it's like he's coming in slow motion. Maybe better in black and white. As he's making his way forward.
Check one of my talents for a moment.
And for a brief moment, you think he's charging you. As you realize one day he will.
Charge against me.
Because you're a heretic.
Straight. Hard to argue with
This
that.
is certain to come.
Well,
One day, he is going to charge you down. It might not come.
I mean, I'm about to ask about vision.
Oh,
It's
great.
happened without even trying.
Boom, boom, boom. Because sometimes they just come.
Yeah.
Boom, boom, boom. Boom, boom, boom. And then he's just
Just going to radiate
man,
positive
take
vibes.
Sigmar.
as he goes,
Buddy Sigmar.
Cleric Sergeant, you will step down. I will. Grandmaster.
Stand slightly more to attention.
We all kind of stand. It's like,
We have somewhat of a situation here. Magister of the Orders has given you some insult. Is that correct? He just nods once. Looks over. Well, he's a bright wizard. What do you bloody expect? Civility? As well, expect civility from wolves. Idiot. He says, the Order offers you an apology for this man.
Gracefully accepted.
Grandmaster! He says, yes, I am!
However, if he would like to hit me with a whip, go ahead. If it makes him feel better.
Now, he shan't be hitting you with anything. I will have you report to your tent. Goes off. You have the Order's apology. Looks at you. You're blind. Come down to the camp. We'll have you fed. He says, my apologies for this unfortunate situation. His father was recently burned by the Bright College. They were defending themselves. Nevertheless, he's now dead. I don't offer that as an excuse, merely stating the nature of the incident that he is currently dealing with. As to the truth of it, we can't be certain. He may not actually be dead. Such is the nature of rumor. But he's quite convinced of it.
Might I ask where this happened?
Supposedly down near the Grey Mountains, he says. But this is not important. Looks around. You, what are your name, please?
Eliminate Shadowvale.
He says,
Grandmaster.
Grandmaster Hoven. Have them report down, he says, to the fourth tent along. Note the heart with the burning effigy leading to a black dip at the bottom. That is where you will be fed. You will be looked after. And pings over to you. Coin. And on it, there's just a heart. If anyone gives you any problems, give that to them. Give it to him. Good day. He goes off, and as he goes down, man's going to be the bloody death of us. You hear him. The acute sense hearing. Bloody death is challenging wizards. And you hear, you must understand, he is in a difficult position. Its father, Hergeg's probably dead. He says, I don't really care one way or the other. His name's not Hergeg, for goodness sake. It's where he comes from, you idiot. He says, oh, I don't know.
Lord
Such is the way it
Heraldry. I
is.
know exactly where it is, but I need to check if Elemental.
Go roll!
3 successes.
Fancy.
Hochland! And Hochland has no true royalty, or it has been properly conquered by good old Talabicland.
Oh god, just a double whammy. And a Talabot. Yeah.
He's a Hochlander,
All right.
known for being not exactly bestest buds with Talabiclanders in general, particularly Talabheimers, which in this particular case,
How's deep, baby?
yeah.
Am I
As they
getting
go
it wrong? But is Hergig not where the crown prince?
That's not Hochland. That is Ostland.
But that's not Hergig.
No.
Auckland.
Prickly man, eh?
Yeah.
Why did you try and talk him out? Wants to whip me. Do his worst.
He might have killed you.
I'll stand by my convictions. I asked the question. I don't think it's anything outrageous.
It seems like he was prejudiced possibly against both Talabeclanders and Bright Witches. You were on a
Tough
losing.
life.
You couldn't have known.
And he also, as a noble, is
You
used
can
to
also
people just
find most Sigmarites tend to be prejudiced towards wizards. Most.
Well then
Not
why
all.
why would you even talk to them?
How are you meant to mend the bridge?
Yeah, but let's be clear. You weren't building a bridge, you were burning it.
No. If I was burning it, there'd be fireballs everywhere.
Wish they didn't do it.
Yeah. Stayed quite calm.
Yeah, but you unnecessarily needle it. You know that.
Don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, you do.
You make your way down the hill.
That man will be the death of us.
Burn bright.
Burn quick.
So, Alaminawai.
Mhm.
Huh. Out from the building, the cairn-like building, comes 4 people. The first hits Yumi almost like a punch. A glowing golden light blazes from him as he arrives out from there. Catches your eye like a burning sun, off to the side. Difficult to look at him, just for a few moments. And then you feel in the distance actual terror. Terror. Foxes on the run. Running hard, fast. Because you've seen that, an enemy. That.
Running away.
Yeah. Important detail.
Fox is going. You're not. You just sense it in the loosest of fashions. By comparison, okay, you're not entirely sure how to take this. It doesn't really matter what that thing looks like. You're pretty convinced you know what that thing is. Archlector, Grand Theogenist, one of the above, chosen of the gods. You can feel it with a certainty.
Gods.
Yeah, with an absolute certainty. There's a part of you that knows you're probably supposed to kneel down, but you're not entirely sure.
And we're far enough away from them, aren't we?
But you were also aware
That they're exactly the kind of people.
they don't know,
Yeah.
which means he might be traveling incognito.
Mhm.
Just because you can immediately recognize what this is before you doesn't mean they know at all.
Also,
Maybe wait
like,
and see if anyone else kneels.
also, that is exactly the, one of the sort of 2 or 3 people I was specifically trying to avoid when I was an Altar. And we've ended up blundering into them. I mean, come on.
Anyway, that's not at all who you focus on. You focus on the one behind, dressed as a monk. It's Gerhardt. His hair tonsured to all sides. His features unmistakable. You are quite convinced.
Another one.
Scar.
Does he have a scar?
Yes, down one eye.
It's just when Almanor leaves the party. I got the wrong one.
Thank goodness.
She was intense. Well,
But here, Onshirt, as he's down and you can see the comet Onshirt atop his head. That isn't what you had drawn. That is not what you had seen. The hair that you'd seen had been sort of flowing and loose and somewhat tumbling like a waterfall. This, no, there is nothing that you could say that resembled a waterfall here in the slightest. More like a barren mound.
Mustache?
Good thing human hair doesn't
No
grow,
moustache.
right?
No moustache.
No mustache.
And he's down, but unmistakable. The features, they're carved into your mind. Willpower test, please.
You may well put her arm on Luitpold, like
3 successes.
Good.
just clench. That's strong.
They apparently have taste.
I'm quite tough.
What's going
You're in your
on?
warrior priest stuff, so it's just.
Oh yeah, it's on metal.
Vambrace
That's a fair
or
point.
whatever.
Yeah.
What's
What's the
everybody
4
so
people? Who's the
stressed?
4th?
There
It's
is
some guy.
You haven't even noticed.
Okay.
Yeah,
There
before
is-
people came out.
someone, I don't know if it's the Grand Theogenist himself or if it's one of the Archlectors, but there is a very, very senior member of my cult that's just walked out over there.
He's really shy.
There's also a
So if there's a senior member of the cult, you could not tell which one it is because he is not dressed as a senior member of the cult.
What's this girl look like?
there's also a lookalike of our missing party member. A twin, one might say.
Dara?
No, no,
Deep cut.
no. The doctor.
Another one.
Yes.
Oh,
Scar as well.
hmm.
Maybe this one will like me.
Hey, you've got a second chance.
Maybe.
Although if he's tonsured, that might mean he's in one of the orders that take vows of celibacy. I'm sorry.
Well,
At least you can't blame yourself for this one.
And we need to frisk him for a purple hand if we can get him on his own.
But what if he is the Archlector?
Or the Grand Theogenist.
I don't really care about that.
I mean, surely you've seen the Grand Theogenist before, no? Was he not?
I mean, from a distance.
From a
Yeah.
big distance on a Holy Day in Outdoor.
Okay.
Quite.
And when I
Yeah.
saw him, he was in all his regalia with the.
And
But
don't,
he
but don't we know that
Is
the
he not
Grand...
an old man? Is that not what people were saying?
Yeah,
Yori
it's,
the 15th.
it's Yori. Yeah, so yeah, he's really old.
He's pretty old.
So is he
Yeah,
really
so-
old?
So it's not Gerhardt.
So if it's any of those three, it's the one that's sitting at the back with his head lowered, with a very simple tonsure.
Well, I can
He's a
Sit-
Middenlander, right?
past the awesomeness of that person. Can I sense the other
No.
bodies there? I literally just
You're-
blinding light.
Yes, quite.
G-Thorge is a Middenlander, isn't he?
Sorry.
The Grand Theogenist?
G-Thorge.
I called him G-Thorge.
Smart.
It's
Good use of
quicker.
your time.
Definitely explaining it hasn't slowed us down at all. Is G-Thog for Middenheim?
You me not know. Do yourself a lore.
Theology, Middenheim
You
history.
can just call it Mheim. It's fine.
I decided to adopt human nicknames. Is that right?
Spot on.
It seems
Sure
very
thing.
Theology will do for you.
maybe don't
why I
call
call
him
you-
that.
Al.
3 successes?
Yeah, you believe he's Midlander.
No.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think
Maybe
That's
even
happening.
Middenheim.
I mean, I think I might have heard that if I'd been in Middenheim.
Yeah,
though.
they don't.
It was one of our fireside chats.
You may well turn to Jiro and ask. I mean, I don't know why she says this in hushed tones, but she will, even though it's in Nipponese. Just be like, can you sense that? Or is it just me? That
I am not of the Imperial line, Your Imperial Highness. Of course, I cannot sense what you can sense.
nobody's taught me this stuff. I don't know what you can sense or not sense.
It is a warm summer's day.
My fox ran away when I saw that. I could feel the terror.
Well, then your fox is fallen and needs to be hunted down.
Maybe. I would like to believe not. See, we are kind of very linked.
Which should make it easier to hunt him down.
He's out of line, but he's not wrong.
The one at the back in the plainest robes looks the oldest. He would be your man if this was the G-Thorge.
But the G-Thog is really Luitpold like stuff, right?
He thinks he's pretty old.
Like needs help around
Yeah,
to
yeah,
walk.
yeah, yeah.
I mean,
Decrepit.
is somebody helping him?
Nope.
No, I mean he looks decrepit though.
Is the
We're also
You're not
assuming
always the best at judging our ages, though, are you?
It might not be the Grand Theology.
That's
Said it
true.
could be one of the
It
other.
could be
Yeah.
one of the archlectors.
doesn't the Grand Theologians always wear the thing? Is it known what that thing does, or is it
Not really, no. And
And
he
not if
doesn't
he's
appear to be
incognito.
wearing
Yeah.
a giant thing, so to speak. He's just wearing very simple robes, assuming it.
And I'm assuming Luitpold doesn't know any of the art, or by sight, any of the archlectors particularly. None of them were at the conclave, were they?
No, they weren't.
Um,
Both Null and Talapine were missing.
you could?
what would I mean? That in and of itself is interesting. So that's it, right? So if it's not the Grand Theogenist, it's either the Archlector of Null or the Archlector of Talapine.
Yeah, probably.
I mean, that is interesting in and of itself, right?
Ask him which Middenheim team he follows.
Could I
No,
use my visions talent?
famously.
Oh, visions. What we do with visions?
Visions. Well, just I get a vision about the fate or future of that person, assuming I don't balls it up.
Do you test?
I'm clobbering you.
Should we hold
Oh,
you
it's a
down?
crit.
Oh,
That means I get more. Oh! I've never had a crit on one of these before.
How exciting!
Typically, I would imagine not on a particularly useful one, but maybe I'm wrong.
Says your head explodes.
The vision is critical. A life reveal. I receive a vision concerning the target. You will provide plus visions. I only have it once. Certain facts that I can interpret from the vision.
All right, certain facts that you interpret from the vision. How many do you get?
One.
One, because
One.
I've only got talent once.
But a crit. I know a crit's what gets you that effect.
Yeah.
He will be walking dead. As his fate is laid out clearly to you. You can sense it. And he, at this point, looks directly in your direction.
Oh, no.
Well, you can't go calling on Sigmar and then not be surprised when his best mate spots you.
Yeah, and Sigmar looks back.
But that's actually reassuring.
So this,
Believe it or not.
this is the blaze of glory person that you're both
Yeah.
seeing.
Yeah.
is destined to be walking
Yeah.
dead.
I mean, a little meta knowledge. Yeah, I'll compartmentalize that. But yeah. Interesting.
Walking dead.
Walking Dead. But I mean, you were really putting Luitpold through the ringer here, because he's also had that certain vision that he had in Wittgenstein that it was necromancy or the end of the world.
Yep.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yes, it is.
I think we've all got to become vampires, you guys. That is two certain facts I've had from Sigmar.
Finally!
That was your best day.
Best day ever. I miss you,
I
Lewis.
think Birdie was right. I think we've all got to become vampires.
Can I have that written down? That doesn't happen very often.
And that brief moment of connection passes as quickly as it was linked, as the four of them make their way over towards the nondescript coach and go in. As they do, the sudden blaze almost winks out entirely. Gone.
Handy coach to have.
Magic coach.
Has anyone considered that they're using Gerhardt's lookalikes? And you know who I mean by they.
Mm.
And now this is with potentially one of the most powerful organizations that we have.
That's why I said I wanted to frisk him.
I mean,
Or they have seers who also saw a similar vision that
Mhm.
face would be useful, and so they found one too.
How many are there?
And that would make sense
absolutely.
in that they're seers, not the true seers. Sorry, not the blind seers. You know what I mean?
Mm.
They said the same prophecy, didn't they?
Well,
Like,
all,
yeah.
all
the
the
wrong
seers did.
prophecy,
Yeah,
no?
yeah.
Or
Yeah, it's the wrong is too strong.
incorrect.
Tinkered with.
The
Use your words.
I can see it,
No, you
but I
can't.
can't say it. No, I can. That's what's so frustrating. I can. It's like fallen, no, or corrupted, no,
The Horndrad
tainted.
claims the Broken King atop his throne of lies, and then the white walls fall and leave the empire in
Tampered
ruins.
with.
Yeah, like
That sends a shiver right down your back.
they all said that.
They all said it
Yeah.
because an elf wanted them to.
But
No,
No.
no,
Why then?
that's
Is that
inaccurate.
wrong?
That's inaccurate.
okay.
I will override that one.
Yes,
You can
Fair.
you can repurpose it any way you wish, or just stick with it, because that was what was going to happen. The elf didn't want that to happen.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
that- tonally,
Mm.
not quite right.
Yeah, they all said it because that's what's going to happen. Not because they were wrong.
no, but their visions are coming from the world, not to use. If I'm using the language right, not directly from the ether. Is that right?
You and I have a difference of opinion on the accuracy of prophecy.
Well, it's not. It's
in
not about.
those-
No, it's not about accuracy. That's. I think maybe our language barrier has made that worse. Like it's not necessarily inaccurate. That's not what I'm saying.
I'm
It's,
Scottish.
it's tempered by, flavored by, right? Like I'm getting the direct ingredient, but the other prophecy has been cooked in a pot that's been used before.
We are slowly getting closer to the camp.
We're
I
just by the
let's-
left of gyro and gone. It's all shite.
Gyro.
All this
let's,
prophecy shite.
Let's park that conversation for later.
Does Gyro say anything back?
Probably not.
He does not.
Take you both out doing mediating hard conversations in the mediating place. Good job.
Thank you.
That was patronizing.
Oh, it was very sweet and sincere.
You arrive at the appointed tent, assuming that you take them to the correct one.
And don't elaborately prank the father.
Yes, I'll take them to-
Which tent
Marvelous.
was it?
probably the one where we're going to get burned to death, and it was all a trick.
Yeah.
It is a tent with a large pot currently stirring in the outside.
Oh, okay.
Gerhardt's going to be very disappointed because there is indeed an enormous cauldron's worth of stew.
Oh, happy days.
Happy days, and it is particularly pungent, and because it's feeding people who are of every single last one of them noble of blood, particularly good one at that.
Best place ever.
Well
Good
seasoned.
shout.
Top quality stew.
It is actually top quality stew.
You'd have
Thick.
probably fallen into it in a hurry to have some.
It has
We are
meat.
here for the stew content.
It includes meat, and it's not just meat; it's beef.
No, it's not. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not just meat. What we have captured. No. It's a good, solid beef stew. Oh,
Alric was still
Uh,
his own condiments.
absolutely.
Hergon. That's why I got him mixed up with Hergig. His name's Hergon.
She says,
Oh,
without.
A purpose of just yeah, okay.
You're talking to yourself.
Jiro looks at the stew like it might be poison, and then proceeds to carefully eat it using the spoon.
You can still hold the bowl up if you want. Like, it's okay.
No, he says, I shall not. I will use the.
She's speaking in racial, by the way.
He isn't. I shall use the. Almost a spoon. He says,
All right.
I think he likes it.
"You taste the metal." He says,
Well, it's good for you. You know, like it's good for your blood. They say the metal.
Did you say that in Reichsfield?
Yeah.
He's just
If I had eyes, I'd roll them.
Gerhardt mentioned something along
I
those
don't
lines.
think there's any metal in this.
puts it down
He's gonna starve.
and stands.
Pass him some bread or something.
Well, she does eat. So what's our plan? We're sitting on the edge of the large Fiery Heart encampment, having ourselves some stew and bread, which is super tasty, surrounded by knights who view all somewhat as a curiosity. The chap who is currently feeding you is one of their many, many hangers-on. For others, over 100 knights, turns out, much more actual staff coming along with them, doing such things as preparing food. He's very happy to provide you with anything that you're looking for. He says, as long as it's stew. He says, very good to see you.
Very good stew. Very good.
Bread.
Very good to see someone from the north down here, if you don't mind me saying, Father. Says, we don't see much of your order down this way. Says you're passing through from north.
I'm heading back, actually.
Did you hear that? Why I said that? From north.
Yeah, good. Just like alone.
Yeah, my old wife. Yeah, she was from up there. Yeah, she's my ex-wife. She was very shouty. She shouted at me all the time.
Oh, yeah. Middenheim women.
Yeah,
Strong-willed.
She will.
It's not a bad thing. It's just a thing.
Oh right. I hear what you say. He says, I'll get you an extra big wooden spoon. He looks over it.
Oh, no.
Do we to ask if they have a spare?
Do you have any? Do you have extra spoons? But
Thank you.
wooden ones.
Surely you've got your own spoon.
Yeah.
It's metal though. Just to try from a wooden spoon. I heard it tastes different.
It's a ladle, mate.
Is there any other spoons in the camp? Wooden?
Yeah.
He wouldn't know.
No.
Oh.
It's just a joke. It's a joke we do in every camp. Don't worry.
Oh, it's a good one. Oh, that.
Feel free to use it.
I don't think you quite understand the nature of the order upon which I work. For whom which I work. They're like the silver.
Right.
So
Wait, are the spoons we're eating with silver?
partly so, yes.
Up the sleeve.
I mean, I'm more pointing it out for a member of the party, but yeah.
Morally sound. What are we doing?
I have a question. Do
And
you
just sitting
think,
down eating stew, I presume.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think that they would take offense if I told them about the Nepalese general who has a huge helm with our letter for love
Yes.
on it?
What's the letter?
Okay.
What's it look like?
I mean, I can write it down for you if you want.
Yeah.
Sure.
I think they probably would.
I have
I'd say it
art
depends on the
calligraphy.
Oh, do your art calligraphy
The
roll.
old
Look
time.
at impressively
I mean, they might not if
So
they
I
were
can do a
interested.
tattoo
in
of it if you want.
God.
I think they might
Love.
say. I think they might say, "What does that have to
means-
do with our order? We are about the strength of our fiery heart."
Any success? Oh wait, no, I got a +1, so 4 successes.
Sweet. There you go.
And then she like looks at Juro like,
Hero will look down, nod once. Well
Well
done.
I know.
Yeah, it was.
Well done.
you can frame that.
Bream the earth
Roll it up.
on the
I
ground.
mean, I'm not planning to tell them I have a heart-shaped tattoo somewhere that I got in the brass hole, but
Somewhere?
Interesting place to put a tattoo.
To be fair, we've just seen her eyes. Like, could be anywhere. Could be on her cheek. I
it on your cheek?
would vote for not
Yeah.
staying in the
Which
camp.
yes,
I'd say we should go make our own camp.
at
Well,
those stones they told us about. I still can't tell if I just misheard him when he said it wouldn't.
Well,
I'm sure he said it will.
maybe we could just scout for another
Did you
area
hear Will?
around. I heard would upset the Ulricans.
I heard will definitely, and then he corrected himself.
Has
Wouldn't.
the
I guess we'll
server guy gone away?
Oh, yeah, you're sitting off.
Because he was also a bit of a prick, so he could have been telling us where to stay to really fuck us over.
Yeah.
So
Or just to create
I
tension.
think Alamenoite and I can find a
And he
good
might-
A
camping
good spot.
ground.
Yeah.
He might come back to try and like whirl you up again.
I don't think he's been told.
Yeah.
To be fair, it's one thing that these lads do is if their superior tells them something.
Yeah, if he's been confined to his tent.
Yeah, maybe.
And you can legit set him on fire if he comes back.
He can't actually. It's not in the rules.
You spoil all my fun. Such a buzzkill.
Is it quite
You have
late?
problems
Yeah.
that you need to resolve.
It's time.
You know
Jiro does this. Slide it. Just the slightest.
went over.
And it's fair to say his face, if anything, is more stony afterwards, as if he has somehow betrayed himself.
So he likes it when you insult Birdie.
You've got the measure of him.
I know I've met someone from the Fiery Hawk. I remember. I couldn't remember when. Oh, they could be dead by now. It could have been 50 years ago.
That's fair. So, what's our plan? Lore Theology roll. From our Lore Theology chapter.
Imagine.
2 successes.
Thinking upon it. It's probably wise for you to actually go and speak to the Order of the Shining Rock and request hospitality.
Nice.
And the shock of the various things that you've seen was enough to push most of that to the back of
And
your
also,
mind.
we
But now
were-
that you've had time with
Yeah.
Stu,
Also, we were initially
Yeah.
we were also initially told we couldn't go for 3 hours, presumably until that party left.
so that's presumably what they were. Yeah.
That party have left now, so
Quop, quop, quop,
Yeah.
quop, quop. Interestingly, they have left to the encampment right at the back.
so
They haven't gone off. They're
Oh.
still here.
Then yeah, definitely we should. Yeah. So I think we should probably go and present ourselves to the Order of the Shining Rock and request hospitality with them.
If you ever find yourself in a guerrilla war against knights of this ilk, you should always seek to break their hearts. By stealing their spoons, destroying their tents, and breaking their things. They hate that.
I mean, most people would hate, to be fair.
Nobles really hate it. They start to complain, and they start to leave. What you have to understand is these are all held together by obligation.
Fair enough.
Oh, some of them I think are held together by like devotion.
Sure.
See when all the spoons go
So
missing.
they're things. Humans are very thingy.
Yeah, not the Grand Master.
Oh, I'm not talking about him. He's a darling. I like him.
Yeah.
He might like my story about the guy with the love letter.
Yeah, no, I'm not sure he would. Shall we?
Get them out. They're saying things. Elric is going to challenge someone.
Exactly.
I thought it was cool.
Yeah, I think it's lovely, but you know.
So you've got 3 buildings you can choose. Your big Kearney building, the more modern building, although it's quite old, or alternatively the hovel, the large hovel.
Before we leave, can we ask the lovely man who made us stew as we're returning our
He
bowls
comes
and
over and he
things?
goes, "Thanks very much."
Do you know which of the buildings the Order of the Shining Rock are based in?
Order of Shining Rock, he says. Yeah. Points over to the older, but definitely not Kearney style building. He says, "That's him there." He says, "Hurricanes are in that thing." I mean, what do you even call it?
Which one is he pointing to?
He's pointing to the hovel.
The hovel.
Yeah.
Was it Hurricanes?
Yeah, it's the den, traditional den, yeah.
Right.
He says, so it follows some ancient custom or something, and they refuse to change it. It's a proper stinky place, you know. Don't recommend it.
I'll do my
Well, we
best
were
to-
invited over for a wee tour, because we did give them food, didn't we? So I was like, yeah, I'll do that. Normally I don't get access to that sort of thing. It's just not the sort of thing that's done, you know. And yeah, I regretted that. My face was a face of regret. He says, lovely having ya. He says, spoons.
You're all present and accounted
You're
for.
right. And one missing.
0.
Who's
Who's taking?
Only joking.
I see how much faith you have in me.
I just find that the best way to get to know people It's just throw a casual accusation. Seems very blind, you know? So if anything goes missing later, I know who to look for.
Well played.
You may be the most wise person I have ever met.
He says, I've been doing this job now for 20 years. He says, you tend to get to know people in that time, you know? And when you're dealing with a lot of silver, which we are, you tend to have to make sure that you do a trick or two to make sure you can keep it.
Yeah.
How many spoons have you lost? Or stolen?
Well, let me see. Early, we lost a few, but last 5 years, we ain't lost none.
Wow.
Yeah, we're doing all
That's
right.
very
Good job.
impressive.
Yeah.
Do you like barges?
You're too young for me. I have no idea what you're asking. Is it code? Whatever it is. I'm sorry, I'm married. My husband, he wouldn't be up for that sort of thing, I'm sorry to say. So, no.
I mean, I was offering employment, but sure, okay.
Yeah, you're not going to outpay these fellas.
Fair
Yeah,
enough.
you're not going to outpay these fellas, trust me. The donations from all the families alone, they almost make the Reichsguard look, small. Actually, just on a small one and that, I think there might only be 2 orders that are richer. I mean, this order gets a lot of donations, you know?
Let's guess. Is one of them
Nice panther.
Nice Panther.
Yeah, that's one.
What's the other one?
He's looking somewhat chagrined,
They
isn't he?
have very fluffy towels.
Excellent.
All right, the other one. No.
Maybe it's like a really small but fancy one.
Can you give us a clue?
You got the first one straight away. At least give it a go first.
right.
You haven't even made one guess. Come on, there's a lot of nightly orders.
A lot of nightly orders. And what about the Curse Farina ones?
What about the Jaguars?
Oh, you
Jaguars.
blooming gods.
See, I wrote them off because of the Panthers, but of course it's the other. Yeah,
Why
no,
would
that
Well,
makes
they're
sense.
just fancier Panthers.
They're just, it's the sister order.
Yeah.
They're not
Exactly.
even strictly speaking an order. If you say, I mean, they're secular, aren't they? I mean, how can they call themselves an order? Nightly order, my blooming arse. That's what I say. But that's what they say. Anyway, lovely meeting ya. If anything goes missing, I know who I'll call.
Before we go, can you answer me one question? As I answered yours.
Yeah.
You see the fellow, the cleric sergeant?
Which one? There's like
I'll tell you.
10 of
He's
them here.
from Hergig.
All right, okay.
Do you know his
Yeah.
name?
Yeah.
What is it?
Oh, I'm not saying anything that might come back to me.
Oh, it won't come back to you. I
Oh,
promise.
no, it will. Yeah, no.
Is
no.
he your
I mean, it's
is he your back?
no, they're Talbot Londoners.
All right, just checking.
Clearly a man who knows his heraldry. But then, most of the noble houses pass through it.
Yeah.
Oh, Middenheim.
I ain't saying anything.
He's a Ludenhoff, isn't he?
No. By no, I mean, I'm not saying anything. Look, lovely meeting you. I believe you said you had somewhere to go.
Yeah.
He says,
Well,
I
I
reckon
will.
you go there.
I'm on my wayward flock. Let's go.
See, my guess was going, did you mention a gilded board? Like, gilded sounds really fancy.
Yeah, but I described their temples to you. They're not that rich.
So, what are we doing? Going over to the
middle
potential
building?
chapter
Yeah,
house.
yeah.
I'm gonna go say.
Okay, now that you know that's probably the place where the order is based, chapter house. Heading over there, before you even arrive, the door is opened and there's a particularly rotund fellow.
Now that we've been told which building's which,
Yeah.
which building did the come out of?
Which he came out of the very old, the
Cairn.
oldest one, the
What?
Cairn
Okay.
Castle.
Which is not neither the Ulric nor the Sigmar.
No,
so
it's not
maybe
told
that's
us.
the actual
Yeah,
entrance.
that seems very likely
Yeah.
indeed. Yeah, totally.
Because I guess if it's in a cave, then maybe it's
It maybe goes down
Down,
and
yeah.
well, it's more of a cairn. The whole thing. It's built
Yeah.
quite high up. It doesn't have like a big tower or any equivalent. It's just like a big.
But from what Luitpold knows, the shiny rock itself is quite tall,
Yeah,
taller than that.
yeah,
So-
probably.
It must go down a
Although-
bit if that is.
Yeah, you might not know the proper story.
That's true.
Maybe it's
Um,
like a little.
It might be a this one is small, this one's far
Real
away
tight.
situation.
Maybe it's a grower, not a shower.
Monk. He's definitely a monk. He has got an elaborate tonsure in place, shaved in multiple places on the top to create a griffin that goes down the back of his head.
Professionally,
Holy moly!
Bloody hell, look at
Professionally,
that.
you can't help but go, oh,
that's
wow.
very on point.
Someone has clearly sat there very carefully with a knife.
Mm.
But you got Luitpold as so simple, right?
Yeah.
Which
Yeah.
is now.
It's been a couple of weeks. It's hopefully grown back.
He is waiting for you as you are bantering your way towards him. And he smiles as he sees you out. Hello, you come quite a way. He says, you were knights, yeah?
No, we've come on a pilgrimage ourselves.
Oh, right, yeah, pilgrimage yourself now, is it?
Yeah.
He says,
I was hoping
let's
to
see.
ask for hospitality.
what order, sorry?
Silver Flame.
Right, sure. Oh, that's going to cause a few problems, if you don't mind me saying. Between you and me, sorry, didn't catch your name.
Luitpold.
Yes, you can call me Paul. Brother Paul. Father? Father. Right, I don't really know how your order quite works, between you and me. But it's fair to say, Capitula, he doesn't like your foot too much. But I'd be willing to give you a quick tour myself if you want.
That'd be lovely.
I don't think he'll let you in Chapter House, though. Is this your party?
Yeah, yes.
Are you employee or you leader?
I think when our employer is not here, you are his closest confidant and second in command. He is our leader.
I'm the confessor to our employer.
Right, he says. So I presume we're dealing with some sort of noble party. Oh, I do like that. He says, there's one thing that I quite like. He says, there's people who know the places. And that always really helps. He says,
Mentally willing to don't. Just don't.
he says, it just makes everything so much simpler, doesn't it? Yeah, there's no arguments, there's no bickering. Everyone just does what they have to do. It's like the whole machine, the cogs of life, Sigmar, and everything that the Empire is working the way that it should do. You know, I once met a fella, and he said to me, you know, what's happening down there is happening quite recently now. He says, oh, do you want me to take you around?
That'd be
He
lovely.
says, oh, come with me. He says, you know, he says, I think that the reason that Sigmar, the reason he doesn't like mutants is because it's like a manifestation of what could go wrong with the Empire. And I said to him, well, what do you mean by that? There's a lot of conversations like this just now, given everything that's happened down in Capital. And he said, well, an head should be an head, shouldn't it? But if your head is sticking on the end of your arse, he says, when people start acting outside their place, that's when things go wrong. You wouldn't try to think with your arse now, would you? You'd be arse about head, wouldn't you? I mean, that's just not how you do things. And that's why I reckon Sigmar is against that sort of thing. So no matter what Emperor's saying, I think it's arse about head, if you know what I'm saying. He says, come this way anyway. So this here, he says, this here is the original cave where the Shining Rock were found. Now, it's all built round. He says, and there's lots of different stories about this. Now, I'm not here to make judgment about one story or other story. That's not what I'm here to do. I'm just simply here to show you around. Now, you're going to have to duck to get into here. There's some steps that go down and it widens out. You're also going to need to carry. All you're allowed to carry is candle or torch. You're not allowed to do any magical flames or any of that business. And candle or torch, that's all we're allowed in there. Now, there's a lot of candles already in there, but the walkway up to it, you're going to need to take your own light with you. Now, if you're the sort that likes to make prayer or make devotion, take candle. If you're the sort that would rather just come in and have a look around, completely fine. They're the gods are the ones that judge, not me. You can do whatever you want. He says, so, candle or torch, they're right there. There's an open flame just further down. You can just light it there. You can take whatever you want. He says, I'll go down. You take what you want. He says, I'll meet you down at the bottom. He says, make sure you've got it held up, though. They're forced stare down. It wobbles. He says, and Ulricans, they don't want us to change it. They think it's traditional that it wobbles, you know. They like to think that some people will fall down. But I always warn them. It's just to make sure, you know, they think that's all right, you know, lesson learned and everything. They don't like me telling them that much, though. Right, I'll make my way down. He picks up a candle, lights it, makes his way down. I'll be down there.
I wasn't listening.
I know loads of people who think not with their arse, but with the other side.
Well, yeah. Is it a Sigmarite thing to pray with candles? Is that a...
Not especially, but candles are very common in Sigmarite temples.
Yeah.
Very, very common.
Because obviously Luitpold doesn't need one practically, but if it's the done thing for praying, he probably should have one.
The handy candle so you can see your way down.
Yeah.
How about everyone else?
Candle.
Candle. Candle. Candle.
4 candles.
Ah!
You're going to take a torch then?
I don't need a candle. Why would I want one?
Just
Oh, it's only if no, it's fine. Like, they're not going to be offended if you don't want to pray here.
I do not pray.
take a torch. That was the alternative.
Torch?
Okay.
Or are you taking nothing? Your choice.
You can see.
And you've got good eyes, so if you don't need to see, you don't have to take a torch.
No, I'll take a candle.
Candle taken.
Are you all right?
Yeah.
You seem
What?
distracted.
Swirly.
I got a shock earlier.
Step, 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 step down.
Wobbly step.
Anyone purposely trying out that wobbly fourth step?
I'll
while we all jumping over.
Actually, though,
listening. So
Luitpold will ask if Bernie can go ahead and he can just put his hand on her shoulder
Yeah.
just in case,
Yeah.
because
so
for all that he doesn't need to see, sometimes detail like steps don't work well.
for Elemenowith, it will be complete chance whether she falls down these stairs.
And
if
do
she wasn't
yourself
listening.
an athletics test.
No, it's either really bad or really good.
Fumbles, breaks her neck, loses her neck.
Actually dead.
Oh, are we on holy ground?
Yes, we are. We've just passed on to Holy Ground.
Can I do a holy visions?
Yes, you can.
Oh, me too, me too.
Holy Vision test, please.
One fail, although she will probably be taking her time, I would think.
Oh, yeah.
So,
yeah.
so 6 successes.
Yeah. Totally. She should be fine. It's just a bit wobbly. It's not that
Yeah.
Pass, which means we get to know which god it's sacred to and one detail of its history.
It's sacred to Ladriel.
Shut the front door!
It's sacred to Sigmar.
I got 2 successes.
Yep.
No, it just
You're never going to hear the end of this.
He's never going to tell us.
As he crosses over and goes, what the? Anything else you learned?
One detail of its history.
One detail of its history. Ladriel plunged the sword into the stone so that one day a hero could claim it.
I mean, that feels like a lie, but
On your side.
I mean, it's Ladriel, right? So I feel like I should write it.
Yeah.
And Sigmar broke the crystals in desperation as he flung, his side pierced by a spear. He fell back into them. Another crystal pushed through the back of his side as well. He reached down to one and plunged it forward into a beastman. Great horns, goes up through his neck. Sigmar was 17 years old. And he just watched his friends die around him. He was running in panic, desperation, to a holy site of Ulric. And that brings with it the immediate awareness that there's something wrong here. Both of you realize there must be something wrong here because it's painfully obvious for any who are blessed as they cross over the threshold. Painfully obvious where the blessing lies, which means the blessing lies. It must, because they all have different stories. All of them. It must.
Which means it could be sacred to Ladriel.
Yeah.
Those two are not mutually exclusive, but
Yeah.
it's like a Frankenstein sort of situation. Like, are we
what?
like when we were fooled?
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Could be.
You guys look weird again.
feels to me like this place is sacred to the
Oh, now you've done it.
land. But any blessed priest would feel that if it were true. What does it feel like to you?
I felt Sigmar. I just had a
Well,
whole thing about how he was fighting beastmen.
Someone high up was just in here. Surely they also would have.
Well, exactly. Something's wrong.
Maybe everybody sees something different.
At the bottom. You up? You all right? You got down? He says.
Yeah.
No one had any trouble with fourth stair. He says, did anyone test it? Got to ask, did anyone test it?
Barely even noticed.
You felt it wobble and just went right past it.
I felt it wobble, but it wasn't too bad.
Right. He says, now, you've got to keep your heads down. He says, because the lowest part here, he says, it's just above my waist height. So you've got to go right down. He says, now, for yourself, Father, you're going to need someone to guide you through here. And I imagine she'll be fine. But he says, I'm very sorry, but I'm going to have to get down on my hands and knees. This is seen to be a part of the benediction. As you prostrate yourself before the gods, so to say, to show that the gods are above you, so I suppose, or not. The lector, he puts it together much better. He's got like a whole speech. I've heard it a few times, but between you and me, I can never remember it. But it's very important. So if you want to be praying, it's said that you should close your eyes as you're making your way through the lowest part. He says, you close your eyes and you make a quick, brief prayer, so to speak. Now, that prayer might be to Ulric, that prayer might be to Sigmar, or maybe that prayer will be to someone else. I mean, I don't know why you do that, though, eh? He says, right, sorry. As he gets down, he wiggles his huge bum and then wiggles his way through as he goes, here we go. It's a bit of a tight fit, he says, for big lads like me. Oh, here we go. Oh, I hit that bit. He always digs in me back as he makes his way through.
Is he blessed?
I don't think so.
I mean, my senses are all over the place anyway.
So, are we doing anything as we make our way through?
I don't know if this is how this talent works, but I'm gonna. So I've got the empathic talent.
Empathic, yes.
This obviously lets me kind of roll intuition tests.
Yes.
And I've seen Almenrath use it if she thinks people are like lying or if
Yes.
they're hiding something. See when he said, or you might want to pray to another god, though I don't know why you'd want to do that.
Yeah.
What was there more behind
Please
that?
have an intuition test, please. You get to call it, you can roll it, you've got empathic.
Woohoo!
I won't do it on your behalf.
Yeah. So 7.
Yeah, completely
8,
above board.
9.
Man's but is this he's just no.
No, nothing,
Yeah,
nothing,
no.
no dissembling there.
Genuine.
Good.
No.
Cool. Perfect.
Yeah, definitely not. As he wobbles through. Anyone else making through? Who's going through first?
Well, I'll have to go through before you.
That's good. Are you making any little quiet prayers?
What did Jiro take? Does he have a candle? Or
Juro's sitting on the outside.
oh, he's never
I
even
was
come in.
refusing to go.
No, he's just sitting on the outside waiting to kill anyone that might potentially damage you.
As long as there's nobody bad in the cave, I guess.
Yeah, quite.
So I'll go first. My last words to go hold my ass. Because that's the bit that's going to be sticking out.
I mean, I could grab your boot. That's it.
Yeah, whatever.
That's what she wants.
That's a fair. The lady asked.
He knows what he wants.
Luitpold,
Are you-
Just
fetish.
a single look with Yume, and then
Are you making a prayer?
yes, she will.
Mhm.
She will cast a very basic prayer to Ulric as she goes through. Sorry, I've not been very devout recently.
Sounds interesting. Do yourself a pray test.
Me?
Ooh.
Yes.
I don't have pray.
It's
Basic
It's a
basic
basic
skill.
skill, so it's a
Okay.
fellowship.
Oh, okay. So let's have a look. No. 3 fails.
Unless you've got advantage, in which case it's only 1 fail.
No, you don't have advantage. Oh, I don't apparently have a rule book.
There's a
over
rule
it.
book.
Oh, here's one.
I don't
I
know.
do have one.
I've got a priest of Sigma hanging up my bottom.
I'm very
Why?
good. Who's going next? I believe it's Priest of Sigmar who's
Me.
hanging off her bottom.
Yeah.
Are you making a prayer?
I mean, mechanically it feels dangerous, but I think in character he absolutely would.
Yeah, don't game the system.
No.
on it.
I'm going to game the
Classically-
system.
Classically.
I don't game the system.
Well,
games the
As I
system.
believe I said last time, you cast me the villain, so I will game the system. No, I won't. I won't game the system.
Pardon me, sorry, that was not a very high
Oh, and if
number.
you're grabbing her arse and she's
I'm in
just
totally
rolled
shit,
that.
mate. I'm in trouble.
Interesting. Ooh. Mm-hmm. Good. Yeah, carry on.
Yes, he will do a little Curse Sigmar. I think is logical. He's not gonna.
Yep.
Yeah.
And what sort of prayer do you offer?
I think he will be praying to Sigmar to. I don't know, to help him have the insight to understand what he wants.
Yep, good.
That makes sense.
Like
Like what
pretest,
Sigmar wants.
please.
Yeah. 4 successes.
Good. You make your way through, offer your prayer to Sigmar. You pray to Sigmar. Who's next?
You may.
I can go next. Sure.
Okay, you may. Are you making a prayer to anyone?
So many options.
Uh-huh.
But she felt
Mhm.
Sigmar not having a good time around here.
Mhm.
And she empathizes / doesn't want that to happen to her party. So she will pray to Sigmar.
Yes, please. Pray.
And what's
Whilst you're doing
my
that, who's next?
You were.
Alan Wife, whatever her name is. That elf bitch.
Alice easier.
Yeah, she's gonna go last.
Okay,
If she'll
go
like
next.
gesture to see
Yeah.
if he wants to go next.
Okay.
Well, he's not going to make a prayer, but he's more going to think about the mother. Is it the mother? Is that
Mhm.
the term that he would have known?
Yeah.
And just think like,
What's up?
are you real?
Is that a fumble?
No, I don't. That's my reroll.
That's your
Oh,
reroll.
no.
Yeah, but is that a crit or a fumble?
What do you
It's,
think?
I think it's a fumble.
I mean, it's bad either way, right?
I rolled 88.
Less bad if it's a crit.
Look at me.
He loves it when we do
So,
this.
somebody's got to
9,
gift
it
that,
might be
right?
the
Somebody's
break.
got to gift that.
I do have a abiding faith twice, but I think that's only if you
Pass.
pass, right?
Yeah.
And that was your reroll.
While she's panicking, what do you do?
Oh, am I rolling a prayer?
Do your
Hmm.
test. We'll get onto that in
One
just a
fail.
moment. One fail. Lovely. Sounds good. Roll D100, please.
Me?
Yeah.
Didn't make her roll a D1.
Yeah, he
Yeah, he did.
Oh, I wasn't listening. 21.
Or actually, I think maybe he rolled it.
He rolled
He
it.
rolled
I
it.
didn't roll
Yeah.
it.
Oh.
Sounds good.
Yeah, stop gaslighting me.
Alabama wife, what are you
You
doing?
check the table, though. Check the table.
She's just gonna walk in Ladriel's shadow and not say anything.
So drop down and say nothing and just pass through with her candle
Yeah.
in her hand as she crawls through. Good test, please.
There's no weaseling out of it.
Hang on. That's a fail.
Images are fun, right, guys?
22. A crit.
Crits.
Crit
Ooh.
and a fumble all at once.
Come and see the tourist attraction. You said it'll be fun.
And
you
we'll
said.
find out what it all means after the break. Birdie makes her way through the tunnel, crawling, and hopes at the back of her neck rise as she makes her way through. There's a monk in front of her somewhere, but that is almost secondary to the sudden sense that she should back out fast. This is where she should be at her most comfortable.
This
We
is
are
right
down a
behind
tunnel,
my
crawling
wife.
around,
Yeah.
clearly, but she's done something wrong. She knows she's done something wrong, and she doesn't know what it is. She has clearly upset some as the father pushes into her buttocks from behind. And her buttocks are cold. Actually cold. As your hand pulls back, as he pulls away, clearly he's not very comfortable touching your bum.
Like, is it particularly that particular cold that he felt beneath the Temple of the Gilded Boar?
It's cold.
Okay, it's not quite that cold.
Your hand's not frozen.
That was like so cold he couldn't touch it. Like,
yeah, quite. Yeah. No. It's just that. It's just that. Oh shit, cold. And then all that sensation gently passes by as the hand returns to your buttock.
Okay.
Feel Sigmar's warmth.
As you make your way through into a wide open cavern, in the center of which there is a pile of blue crystalline formations, some of which are sticking out at angles, and one single shaft rising from the center of it. Thin, about so wide and thin, looking somewhat like a blade, you could argue, but it's irregular.
Yeah.
It's not nice and clean. It looks like it might be sharp. And the top of it goes to the point. So it's quite literally the reverse of a sword that would have been plunged into place. If anything, someone has flipped it. That doesn't seem to make any sense at all. As the monk, who's off towards the side, is just looking on like this. As you feel, and you look at it, and you have an almost irrepressible urge to impale yourself upon said crystal. Now, fortunately, the crystal's quite tall. I saw you. But fortunately, the crystal's quite tall. It's almost 7 feet in length, raising from the base. But the base has got a bit of height to it. So who's to say exactly how long it actually is? But you can do a cool test.
Accepted.
You can do a cool test.
I think I probably should.
Can I suggest don't fumble this?
Yep.
Oh, great idea, Andy.
Yeah. Cheers.
I mean, that would be fumble one of these.
That would be my spiritual advice.
And the man grabbing my ass. No.
You fumble it.
Oh,
Fortune point there.
One fortune
You
point
might
left.
want to use it.
I'm so sorry,
Your
Gav.
fault.
I'm so sorry, Gav. Do fumble it. Do fumble it.
Was it cool test?
Yeah.
It's not as bad as the previous roll, but I think it's still a failure.
grab that arse, father.
I failed by 1.
So from the outside, as the father makes his way through, she pauses a couple of times. Clearly, she's concerned about something, uncertain about something, and the chill that was unexpected,
Yeah.
and certainly something to potentially monitor. That didn't come out necessarily right, but regardless,
Have to get closer around.
as she then shuffles forward, and then somewhat at speed, with an alacrity you didn't expect, she shuffles right forward, outpacing you very quickly. You're not a natural floor shuffler. As she goes right up to the crystals themselves and just prostrates herself before them.
I mean, that's
The
the thing you do in holy
deep
places. Right?
sense of shame is rooted and very difficult to shift. And all the things you've ever felt guilty about, of which there's been several now,
1 or 2.
yeah, flash through your mind.
We could be here a while.
Yeah, as you feel yourself there and the lessons you have yet to learn. But the lessons you've survived. Problem is, you haven't learned them. And you know the very tone of everything that was running through your mind as you passed through that neck. Prove to whatever it is that is out there that you'd learn nothing. On that,
What was
Hello.
hi.
Gerald's really gonna regret being outside.
You explode.
Way to go.
As Yume makes her way through, she knows that her parents have visited many spiritual sites across the empire. attempting to understand them, how they have appeased the spirits, what they have done to reach this place of almost inconsequentiality. The Empire is, in comparison to where you come from, safe. Completely safe. As you crawl through and you send off a quick few words in the direction of the divine. Somewhere, something is not happy. From behind you, you hear the scream. Across her face, down there, wounds, each one about 0.5 centimetre deep, gouge out of her chin. Her tongue is split at the end.
Ooh.
A scrape across the teeth, and it's odd. It's the tooth scrape that you feel almost the most. The shock of the skin being split, you barely feel. But the tooth scrape, you suddenly panic. What if you've chipped a tooth? You don't realize there's already blood gushing down like you've got a red beard from nowhere. You're utterly you're certain that, and then you've dropped your candle. It's gone out, and the blood is black on your hands. Fox is so angry with you. So angry with you. You can feel the deep depth of anger that it has as you yank back slightly, pulled by an unseen force into Ulric. Bumface.
Oh.
Big guy. She's just chosen to stop in front of you with a quick squeal. From your side, your acute senses, it's a proper scream. It's not actually, it's more of a perhaps less a little bit more pained as she backs into you, apparently trying to get out. The awareness of him behind you just suddenly brings back all those memories of being very quickly held in place. And you've got a feeling you might need to be. Because it's coming.
Help! Hold me down.
Right.
She'll flip on her back so she's more grabbable than a butt in his face, I guess.
Chuck the candle and just like you did in the where was it? Wittgenstein?
Yeah.
Where he just
on the barge.
On the barge. On the
Mr.
barge.
Barge,
on the
yeah.
barge,
When
yeah.
the book was.
Is there enough room?
Yeah, to get on top of her and hold her, sure.
Jiro definitely won't disapprove of that, right?
Okay, he's outside.
You can just see their feet.
He's right up the top of the stairs. Right?
Yeah, he is.
Perhaps this as well.
But you'll see everything.
It was
I like an audience.
It's an interesting thing to see before you as you hear her yelp, scream, twist, panic. You think it's panic. She panics a lot. Yep, it's panic. And Ulric immediately moves in. Firm, clean. It's obvious what he wants to do. Protect. Do what he can. Straight in. It's very
Interesting choice of words.
It's very clean.
No, it's a very
It's a very clean young man.
From her perspective, you've gone. You barely even hear this. The father is a little bit like, "Where'd she go?" And then from behind, "What's going on?" And why are they? What are they doing behind you? It's difficult to tell exactly what's going on. And then you can. The smell of blood is in the air. You feel yourself rising. You could add to that smell of blood.
Could.
But you don't need to. But you could if you want to.
Yeah.
She wriggles a bit and struggles. Doesn't wriggle in the good way, wriggles in the I want out of here way. While her face is clearly looking panicked and at the same point, I presume reassuring, as if to say, this is what I want to happen.
All sorts of quandaries. Yeah, he can just try and grip as tight as he can. He's done it before.
And there comes Amenemhite at the back.
No, actually, no.
It appears that the humans have finally broken. and they have decided that this is the place they will copulate. You had seen it. It was clearly going to occur at some point. You don't need to be a seer.
I mean, Ulric is very pretty, right?
Yeah, he is.
Very good.
Yeah, very pretty guy.
Very fully dressed at the moment.
Height-wise, they're very compatible.
Yeah, they're just lovely. As they have made their way in and decided that this holy place is there. And you know why? Because no one will find them here. You can feel it as clearly as you felt anything ever. And you almost giggle to yourself. This is a waystone. This was a waystone, and it was erected by your people to channel magic, set it free from here. It was made of crystal. It was an important one. You're as certain of that as you're certain that they're doing things. So you're certain. No, you're certain. And once, Ladriel sat here, or maybe it was Joros. Difficult to tell. But if it was Joros, Joros was a woman playing a flute. And you can almost see her long blonde hair flowing down, longer than she is tall, with her back pressed against the stone, feeling the magic pulsing through, and her deep desire to return home, but she cannot. And then you snap back to reality. It was gravity. Beat you to it. As the pair of them are still grabbing on tight. No, they're not doing anything. He appears to be doing that hold on to Yume thing to stop, but they don't need to worry. You cannot feel the worry, but they don't need to worry. No one will be able to scry this place or find it.
Do not worry.
The words here will be silent to the gods themselves. This is a place where people should.
No one will find us here. No one will find her. All our words will not be heard by mortal or god alike. If you wish to plan, you should always come here. You will be all right. You are covered in blood.
Can't quite see
I
her
feel
face.
like someone's
It dips
heard
down.
our word.
Yeah, it dips right down, yeah. She's on the other end of a low passage. You can't see it, although you could if you were looking, and you could if you could see. But you can...
Elric would have seen Yume's face.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
She's bleeding badly.
Something is heard, because she didn't do that to herself.
You know that for sure?
I'm pretty sure she doesn't have claws.
She was grabbing onto Elric, but I guess she'll look at her hand.
Blood all over this hand. You might have done that to yourself. But if you did you grow a paw?
What?
Just for a brief moment, you see a paw, white fur, and then you don't. She's just looking at her hand.
I don't see how. I'm fine.
The blood of the gods flows through her veins. Who is to say what can happen in a place of such magic? Come on, we must go in.
I feel too good.
Feet to her face.
I can see her face. That's where my talents kind of run dry. I mean, I do know of a healing, but she won't like it.
Don't scar her.
You are standing right in front of it. The monk's looking over. Looks over to where you are. Oh, bloody hell. Bloody face. All quite quietly said, bloody face. No, don't say that. Inappropriate. But you catch all of it quite clearly. What are you doing, Birdie?
Am I still prostrate?
Oh no, you're now up looking at the tip going, I could stick my hand through it.
Oh, the crystals are in the base shop.
You're not sure you'd have to touch them.
Well, that's what I'll do.
No, they're worn down by time. This though, it'll look sharp.
Can LAWhammer come in? and look round.
Can you get past
You know,
them?
they're still
Oh,
not
they're-
moving.
Yeah.
I
And,
would have let her go because she's.
um,
Are you shuffling in?
I think she'll ask
You're
one
in
of
pain now.
yeah, like
You've not lost a tooth. Maybe that's how the blood got in your hand. Or maybe you're just jumping to conclusions. Oh, you touched it, didn't you?
yeah.
When you
that's-
checked your tooth.
do you have a spare veil or a cloth I can wrap
I've
around
got
my
a
face?
scarf.
Did she have a spare?
It might be useful them.
She does.
Backpack just full of.
The
Like
only
the size of a halfling.
You should see her lustria wish list.
yeah, she'll wrap it tightly around so it doesn't like.
Oh, that's sore.
Is this? Are they in now?
Yeah, she's moved
Yeah,
in,
then
and it
she'll-
looks like
yeah.
he's
What
crawled in
happened
as well.
to you? Are you hurt?
Yes.
No fair question.
Blind.
Blind.
Well, it looks like she's bleeding from her face. I think she might have bashed herself on the way in. It happens sometimes. A lot of people just slip. You know, it can get a bit muddy down there. Although it's summer just now, you tend not to get a bit muddy. Was it much of a wound?
Has his accent changed?
Yes.
What was it before?
Not that.
Human.
Not,
Middenheim
Less
or
alcohol.
Midlandy
Yeah.
before. And, yeah.
yeah. I thought I chipped the tooth, but I think I'm okay. Maybe.
Oh, just talking hurts. Just talking hurts.
Here we go.
All right, this way. As he poddles on in.
So now Luitpold's actually in there.
Mhm.
How is it to his senses?
Utterly mundane. We have ourselves a crystal. We have ourselves the shard that goes to a point. We have ourselves behind that a small sacristy, you presume, to Ulric, but it's got a flame that's being held above its hands. But you can see a proper eternal flame over to the side by a statue of, you presume, Ulric. It's difficult to tell to your senses. The other side, that's probably Sigmar. There's a statue there. There's definitely a large, it's a very big person. No, it's not moving. It's a statue over to that side. And a further behind that, small sacristy to probably Sigmar. There's, it's definitely Sigmar. You're on holy ground. That's definitely to Sigmar. There's a hammer, you think, sticking out from the top of it. Interesting. You wondered exactly how this panned out. Ulric's closer. Sigmar's taking up the prominent position right at the end. You can almost feel
It's
the
a
debate.
delicate political.
Have they been moved?
Yeah.
Have they swapped around more than once?
Certainly. Yeah.
And the two to either side, the flame, you can feel the flame now. You can hear it flickering away.
Which means a proper eternal flame there.
What
does that
it's
mean?
a fire.
Okay.
But you know, rather than the small thing that's sitting there, and candles all over the place. Some of them sitting on some scones. Oh, there's something up above. That's covered in candles as well, hanging down from above. You've only got that blade. What do you think you're going to do?
I'm getting close to the sharp.
Oh
thing
yeah,
in the
you're
middle.
close to the sharp thing.
Can I
Oh,
run my
yeah.
finger along there?
Oh, we'll ring him in. Run your finger to it, and do yourself a melee test. This is to not chop off the tip of your finger.
Okay.
If you pass this, you realize how sharp it is, and you don't chop off the tip of your finger.
Okay.
If you fail this, it's so sharp that you go, oh, fuck up, and it's gone.
Okay.
If you fumble it,
Bye bye hand. I have
Got
no
any
fortune points. No, before you ask, no, I do not. Is it melee basic or melee brawl?
it's
Yeah.
melee
5 days in
brawling.
the future, you have all
Basic.
5 fingers. so-
Basic, melee
Oh,
basic.
She's
No,
got 8 points.
I'll let you choose either, whichever you prefer.
Basic. 4 successes.
It's so sharp. The thin sliver of blood across your fingertip. So sharp. You can understand why someone would use that as a weapon.
Kind of watch it run down my finger.
Mike, you're in.
But, buddy, you all right?
No, I'm not all right.
Okay. Maybe just step back a little bit from the sharp
I
thing.
don't know if I want to.
Just-
Maybe I deserve it.
Just no. I don't think. Just for a moment. Come on. I don't know why.
Bernie, can you see any writing?
Me?
Yes, your kind of writing.
No. It's almost like a grotto on the inside.
No, I could write with my finger on it.
Carved out the 2 statues to either side. This bit in the middle. The top, though, is artificial, so clearly this would have once been open to the elements. So it's been built over.
And where was Galadriel
Where was Galadriel?
sitting when you?
Right with his back against what would have once been something very different, but is now just shards of crystal.
I'm going to have a look at it.
It's the core of what once lay within.
I wonder if we're all like that.
Well, she's in between
Possibly.
you and the sharp thing. So.
Crystals.
Hmm.
And as you get close, you can begin to hear the whispers. Elven souls. Elven souls trapped within. Elves who have died close to this place and were tied to it. And are stuck.
Because it's broken, or because they're supposed to be stuck.
You don't know. That's
don't
one of the
know.
great joys of being Alaminowite, the no memories.
And it's
She'll
the
take
list.
out. No, that's not a good idea, Alan. Don't do
Alaminowite's not said anything about waystones, but Elric's people have their
they do.
own theory
Yes,
on
they do.
waystones. And would he recognize any of this?
This is not like any stone that he's seen.
Okay.
It's not something that would make him think it's a waystone or a stone
Yeah.
circle or anything different. This just seems to be crystal shards
Yeah.
sitting in the
But
center.
he knows
of
there should
a
be a
weird grotto.
stone circle somewhere near it based on that.
Yes, he would
spirit.
expect one to be close by.
He's drawn to the potentially eternal flame. Pre-stream, he had a thing where he actually channeled from one of Ulric's eternal flames, and it did
Nice.
not go well.
Let's not.
No. But he would, I'm guessing, know the difference between what's a regular fire
Yes.
and now what could be something else. So does he sense that it is truly a
It
different?
feels just as fiery as the last one that didn't go so well.
Okay.
In that
it
it
feels
feels like a
different.
normal flame.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel any different, but he's aware that last time things didn't go quite as he hoped.
Mhm.
It's mundane fire. It's not got any magical aspects to it that he can at least see. It's probably tended by the Ulricans. They come in and stock it up every couple of hours or something. There's a pile of logs sitting off to the side of it.
Anything with the winds in this place? Any?
Do yourself a perception test.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
The blonde lady with the flute,
Yes.
did she look like my sister?
No. Ethereally beautiful. In a way that your sister is hard. No. Calm down. You may. Okay, so you're in pain. You're on the inside. You're probably somewhat shaken. And perception test.
Why am I rolling so bad? Welcome to my world.
Because I cursed your dice.
I'm going to re-roll that.
Bag of
but,
change.
like,
The bag of change.
it's a
So I'm going to bring this up just because I have to say it. When I was last down in Warhammer World, we saw this. I was with Gav Thorpe at the time. And I said, think of a reason why I'd be buying myself a little Zinchi bag. Other than it's cool and it's a Zinchi bag and we're doing any with it just now. You just look, use it for your coins because it's a bag of change. Reach the loot, Gav Thorpe. So I had to buy it and indeed did. So anyway, back there, how badly did you do?
0 success unless
Oh, good.
it's lip reading, in which case I get plus.
I think do you not get? You've got holy visions, haven't you?
Yeah.
That gives you a bonus on perception tests when you're on holy ground.
I'll do it. That's it.
Yeah.
Well, I will
One
write it.
success.
Nice.
Hope I'm not making that
There
up.
is a distant fox.
Yeah, they're very
No, it's intuition, not perception. I apologise.
There is nevertheless a distant fox hunting.
Oh no. If I just lie in that tunnel forever, apparently I will not be found and then it will be fine.
Perfect. That's exactly how it should be handled.
So you live here now.
Luitpold, you pull back Birdie from the brink, the edge, the blade that to you seems, well, not very blade-like. It's much less certain and also significantly more mundane than you expected. Now, let's modify that language. It's not divine, to your sense at least. At least that's what you think. Maybe you've just not caught it. Maybe you've not caught it right. Maybe you're just not feeling it right. Birdie is clearly responding to it some way. There's something wrong here.
Mm.
There's something different here.
And does he feel like the shrine to Sigmar and the shrine to Ulric? Do they feel like holy ground?
Yeah, the whole thing's holy ground.
Holy ground, but that's not a holy part of it.
It is holy part of it. It's one of those evenings. But this is not the holiest aspected piece
it's
of
not
this entire
the
grotto.
locus
Yes,
of the
indeed,
holiness.
it is not.
Out of interest,
Yes.
bearing in mind he has these senses that can sort of
Yes.
sense through solid things. I don't suppose he senses like a sword inside the crystal, just in case that vision was quite literal.
That's not quite
No.
how his senses would grab that. So no.
I don't know why it's going to sit where the person in
he's
her vision would
Moving
looks
forward,
at.
Alamena wife plonks her bottom down, right with her back against it. As the monk is like,
She's just
You're not supposed to, like, she can touch it, no?
she just got a finger on it.
Yeah, but she sat on the flat side of it.
like that. As you sit down, and you can feel it. Footsteps of Ladriel have passed place. This place, they have been here. Ladriel has been here. This is where she came up with her plan. She sat here for almost an uncounted length of time because she's not truly mortal or immortal. She's beyond both concerns. She had all the time in the universe to contemplate what she was going to do because her mind is within the aether where there is no time. This just happens to be where she sat. This just happens to be where she sat. You don't know where she went from here. You shouldn't even be able to sense her, but you can because you are walking in her footsteps. And you have arrived in one of the places where she stood, but it wasn't her. It was Joros. And you are as certain as you have been about anything that is what Joros is. The person, the thing, the creature, the entity, the whatever that you have spoken to over the course of your many years is not Joros's face. You've now seen Joros's face. You think you might know her name. So, that being the case, she just sat down there, and the monk has decided and wiggled his way out, destroying things as he goes,
Earthquake.
passing by the blood of as he makes his way out.
I think we scared him off.
Now we can explore.
Not a huge amount to explore here, but yes, you can.
Did Elric's perception test show anything?
Yep. Magic.
Particular
Magic.
Thousands of it.
And as he tries to concentrate, he realizes what the big problem is. His winds are being drowned out. And he can't see by what. And this flurry of axeways that should be coming from the fire, the rays from each candle should be giving him a nice warm glow, but it's deeply restricted. You'd have to push through to get access to that actually. There is something between you and it. Your senses are being confounded. You're quite certain that the swell of magic in here is bluntly not just deep, it's possibly the largest swelling of magic you've encountered directly. And the weirdest thing about it is you can barely perceive it at all.
Would this be even more kind of potentially overawing than the central column in the brights?
Actually, the opposite. It's barely overawing at all because it's all intellectual awareness.
Yeah.
You know what's happening, but you can't really get your finger on it.
I'm going to say a bit more like when we were in Wittgenstein. And you remember he did the spell and it like flared up massively, but you didn't feel like there was loads of winds. But
And he can't, like, his trick in the past that he's used to perceive winds is perceive the absence of his own, but this is just too vague almost. It's just
so
I don't think this is, because again, and just for context, he's never had this in any holy ground.
Nope,
Yeah.
nope, not at all.
This is maybe more than just something holy. There's a lot of energy and magic here.
She's just sitting down at the base of the elf.
That isn't why this is holy. Like it's holy ground. It's been consecrated. The rituals have been done. People come here to worship Sigmar and Ulric, but it's nothing to do with that.
Do you know of the vortex, Magister?
Wizard. No. Does he?
He'll be aware of it. Yes. He's got. You've got lower magic.
Yeah.
Yeah. How many advances?
20.
Oh, that's more than enough. Yeah, you're very aware of vortex and how it drags magic over towards the land of the elves.
We've all we've literally talked about it.
Yes,
on the
indeed.
stream.
Oh.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah.
I think we talked about it on the box.
Good. Thanks. Wait, was that not in the future?
No, it was in the past with Goser.
Yeah.
It is one of its stronger waypoints.
I know that term. This is a waypoint?
I just made that word up, but it was what
A waypoint is made of stone.
a node. It's important. But you think that these are inside all the stones?
Which stones? Oh, like
The waystones. They look like stones, but look, it's crystal.
Elric would have probably visited a couple.
He's
been toured around.
multiple
Yeah.
old stone
But
circles.
again, none of them would have felt
Nothing like this, no. And then he was largely focusing on Gyron and the great spirals that work around these stones and the spiral
the
of
ley
light.
lines or whatever.
Yeah, indeed.
Yeah.
And then how they then push outwards towards the next stone circle. And you can follow those great flows of Gyron, the green wind of magic across the land.
Yeah.
And one of the things he enjoyed most was watching how it would slip between the trees, causing those particular trees to grow much more verdantly. And if you were careful and looked with a certain amount of wisdom, you could actually see the wind by the life that went with it.
I know the term waystone, but it wouldn't be so much what I experience here. I can normally see what's happening, but for this, I know there should be actually coming from them fires. It's very hard to perceive.
Why?
Something's clouding it, something's overriding it.
Well, maybe it is one of the winds you can't see, and this is its major point in this world.
Or maybe it's broken.
Looks quite smashed, but it's still doing something.
Yeah,
I can hear their souls, though.
maybe it's like out of control or something.
So
Is this like your stone, only bigger?
My stone comes from one of these.
Ah.
In my own lands.
A head,
Quite sure that made you laugh at me, but okay.
a head sticks out from the passageway into this area. An older man, maybe about older to you lot, in his 40s.
Wow. All right, boomer.
He's an older
70
man.
odd.
I mean, is she? As he sticks his head up and goes, help, yeah, there's a bit of trouble in here. Thought I better come in. Says, looks around, where's the father? Sorry, I can't see in gloom. He says, my eyes are a bit weak these days.
You and me
As he
both.
goes in. He says, well, you know, getting older. He says, you're from up north, are you?
Yeah.
Capitula Braun.
Pleasure to meet you, Father Luitpold.
He says, it's no pleasure. I'm just a capitula, nothing more, nothing less. You down here, making observances. Why's the blood then? We don't do sacrifices or whatnot here.
No, people got injured coming in.
You panicked my monk.
Yeah, he did seem a little flighty.
Yeah. He came in and he was all, this, that. Pulls his arms. And another head sticks through. Big beard, long grey hair. As he goes, what the bloody hell's going in here? Hey, Capitula, what the fuck is this? He says, there's blood down here. I told you, no blood in the bloody temple. he says as he stands up. Oh! He looks around. He's about 5'2". Really broad shoulders. With a big, huge beard, grey hair hanging down either side, and the biggest, bushiest eyebrows you've ever seen. As he looks around and he goes, "Who the bloody hell are these folk?" He says, "I thought you were doing another one of your blood rituals." As he says, "I won't do no blood ritual. I told you before, Father, we don't do that." "Yes, you bloody do." He says, "Well, bloody wolves. That's your folk, that is." He says, "I told you before, we haven't been..." "That's not the problem." He says, "Capitula!" He says, "We should have a duel." He says, we don't do that. He says, "We should have a duel. Just have it out. See who's right between us. I'm telling you." He says, "I might be getting on in years, but I could show you what for."
Why is everyone so keen to duel in this area? Is this not
That's how we handle things up here. He says, "Well, might makes right. That's all works way. I'm telling you." As he looks up at the capitula, "Might makes right." As he looks down, your literal interpretation of your God's many important scriptures. I always bring. "Oh, I'll have none of your bloody words." He reaches out. Capitula says, "No, there you go. You're right. Bloody right, and he comes in. "Who the fuck are you lot?" "But Father, you could be a bit more..." "Oh, I don't need to be, one way or the other." He says, "Come on. Who are you?"
Father Luitpold.
"Right. Good. What you doing sitting down?" Yeah. As his accent, which he is well schooled, almost entirely slips. And the Nordlander that he is starts to slip through. And then he stops. "You're sitting on that?"
These are the crystals of my people. Do you dare?
Sorry. "Don't do my straps, get back." "Right."
I'm not moving. Do you dare to hit the crystal?
What? As another head sticks through.
Take you guys anywhere.
You brought us here.
"Stand down, Father." "Ah! Dead Father." He says, "Dead Father, sorry. It's just, there's an elf sitting on the..." As a far taller man comes in. Not as tall as some people, but nevertheless,
relative.
a pretty tall guy as he comes in. Big beard as well. Much older. He's a proper old man. He may be 50. Exactly. You children. As he folds his arms and says, "Father, stop challenging everyone you see. We discussed this before. It's not how it's done." "Was that done up my way?" Says, "No, it's not. You are here because you asked to come down here, and we are being very tolerant. I apologize, Capitula, for my father's..." "No. Why are you sitting?"
I am communing with the souls of my people.
"And do you have to do that here?"
Yes.
"There are those who would take offense at such a thing. Are you aware of that? Do you wish to cause a diplomatic incident?" A simple question. Is that your choice?
Thanks for stuff. I will stand.
That is a wise choice, Father. He says, "You have come down from Middenheim, I presume?"
I'm actually on my way back to Middenheim.
"Good. Your people are causing problems. Is this your intent?
No.
Then I suggest that you bring them to heel. To ensure that they don't cause any offense to people who take significant offense. Oh, we don't take significant. Capitula, please. Oh, I'm just capitula. I'm just capitula. I do believe I rank in this particular instance. And he looks at you. So that being the case, says, if you don't wish to cause offense, I would suggest that you resolve your business here. Nobody wants this to become bloody.
Of course not.
Indeed. So that being the case, capitula, perhaps you should withdraw. Well, I was brought. I actually don't care. As I say, I rank here. He's a Sigmarite. I make the decisions, not you. My decision is relatively clear. Please conclude your business. Everyone looks at you, makes their devotions in their own unique way. I do not have a problem with that. If the gods seek to curse you for your choices, then that is the gods' business, not mine. I am not here to make any judgment or proclamation. I am here to simply ensure that you do not disturb things that others might find important. So, he says, please, can I trust you to not do anything foolish? Yes?
Yeah.
Yes.
Good. Who do I talk to? I thought it might be the father, but there appears to be a shared consensus building here.
No, it's the father.
Good. Then, father, please conclude the business. Now, your looks over. Girl. Does she require attendance? She's bleeding badly.
If you have anyone skilled in the healing arts, that would be appreciated.
Let's have a look. Oh, God, girl, what happened to you?
It hurts to speak.
Well, I might be able to do something. That's going to need stitches. You're not going to look the same after this. You realize that. Good, he says. Then come with me, and we'll get you stitched up. Do you want to go out? Do you want to go out? Never let her out of his sight ever again.
Chance I could do it in here.
Yes, I imagine it probably hurts quite a lot for you to bend over. Yeah. Arthur, please make your way over to the den. And I would like you to make a request. No, I don't want him back here. Actually, no, I don't. I'll do this myself. I'll be back momentarily. There's, don't do anything foolish. There have been thousands upon thousands of people through here over the last decade alone. Not one of them have caused this sort of fuss. Says. And then bomb up, he makes his way out.
You may.
So are we alone again?
Yep, you're
Okay.
alone.
Okay, cool.
Us, the small one.
Yeah, he went.
Once he leaves it. Ow. The fox is mad at me, but it's hunting. Don't know if I should go outside.
Something you.
I think she is safe in here. But it's
Jiro
Jiro.
comes in.
I mean, we can't stay here forever, though.
Jiro is holding a single feather, multicolored,
Uh-oh.
tip to toe. I am sorry to say, he says in Reichspiel, Your Imperial Highness, that you have failed.
I knew he speaks Reichspiel.
And you have unleashed the greatest of evils upon this world. It seeks you now.
Is he telling the truth?
Do yourself an intuition test.
I'd quite like to know as well.
Yeah.
Oh, I crit.
Did you? I did not.
So a total of 9,
Oh.
10, 11.
I got
She reached out for the
exactly
feathers.
I got exactly my skill, and I got intuition.
He pulls it. This
8 successes.
I have held for 9 years. Tough spur. But I clipped. Your father said it was not. Sad. That is what it has become. It bleeds from the tree itself. It carries your blood. The gods themselves lie within it. This is what you have made. You truly think that all of that time that you fled from the embassy was worthwhile for this? Your independence, is it so important?
The only thing I had.
And it made this. You had so much more. But you are blind to it in your need for something. And it lifts and whoom, flies straight over towards the crystal. It latches into it. And
Oh, that's
sits
not good.
there.
Can you
Shaking.
tell us the response to our was he lying? Was he
No.
telling the-
He is 100%
I
telling
don't
the
think
truth.
it should go in there.
It's sitting there
No.
on the crystal.
We need,
I'm gonna try and stop it as soon as
Should we just leave and meet the guy outside? Because he said,
So you're running forward towards the feather? What are you doing?
I'm trying to get it off.
You're going to touch the feather. What are you doing?
while she's doing that, I'm going to listen to make sure that the Den Father isn't coming back.
Okay. Down by the hole. Sounds good.
Wait, more politics question.
Den Father's the big
Yes,
talker.
because
No,
it's
that's the
Ladriel and the Ruinous Parish.
Yeah, not
It's
next time.
political.
Politics will not fly.
Damn it.
What are you doing, Bernie? Okay, Alaminowite's going running up to it, and the feather's shaking there against that crystal.
Birdie can touch Warpstone, can't she?
I am saying nothing.
Bernie,
It's
grab
sitting
it.
there, and she stopped looking at
Birdie,
it.
grab
Oh,
it.
I'm just going to walk straight up to it and let the cards fall where they may. I'm going to try and grab it.
Oh, she goes for it. Yumi, what are you doing?
She's just overwhelmed.
Yeah.
Her face hurts.
Your fan. Yumi, your fan.
What about it? What about it?
Destroy the feather.
Might be better with your blade.
Oh yeah,
that's what
definitely.
I'm thinking.
No.
No. That's for her to
But
realize.
not while it's on the crystal.
Yeah, we're getting.
That's for her.
But
No,
all-
no one said it. That's for her.
No, but I'm saying not while it's on the crystal.
Yeah.
It's a
Sounds
tree
good.
all over again.
There's
What
also
are you
a
doing?
lot of magic in this area, so I don't know if her blade.
What are you doing? She's reacting at the moment. What are you doing?
She's gonna take the blade out, I think.
And what's she doing?
Well, she's gonna head towards the feather, I think.
Okay, what's her plan?
To slash it?
I love it! As you go running over towards there and
Can we get it off the crystal?
Pardon?
Can we get it off the crystal?
We'll find out. As Elric is sitting there going, there's a lot of magic, and oh my goodness, she's off! Whoosh! As she goes tearing over there, Jiro just looks on impassively
Oh.
as you go flying over and...
Baracool.
Yes, you are carrying
She'll draw it.
Baracool. Everything is ticking off!
I think I know what she's doing.
You think I'm the trouble?
I think you're all troublemakers, honestly.
I think there's different degrees.
Can I please have a cool test?
Oh yeah, all the way fail.
Finally, though. What's all
I'll
these
spend a
humans?
fortune point. 63 just on my score.
Oh, exactly on it. Oh, could not be better. Beautiful.
Oh no, sorry, it's a 5. 53, still a
53,
pass.
still a pass. So, let's break down what's occurring here. You've gone running up. You've gone, You've called in Birdie. Birdie goes running up towards it. You call out, bands. He starts going, magic, no! He says, no, not against the
He
crystal.
never actually gave me a chance to say what he wanted to do. And if he can, he would be trying to slam Yume's sword back.
So he's
against
going
you.
straight for that. You may dodge test, and from you, brawl test. It's not the first time you two are grappling each other.
Is this a theme now?
5 successes.
Oh,
And it's just a 0 success.
lovely. Giro intersperses 21 successes. And it's
help.
like hitting a brick.
She shouldn't draw that sword.
Julie.
I mean, I did pretty well, but still. As she goes running off, swords out. As you are, and he's just pushing your hand aside each time, and just looking at you as if to say, no, you do not put hands on her. No.
Should have seen 5 minutes ago, pal.
Birdie,
Mm-hmm.
you reach out, and as your hand gets closer towards it, it's like reality is beginning to distort. As you get closer, time stops working. And your hand is moving at a different speed to the arm behind it, causing a brief moment of distension as it pulls and then suddenly slows, and the feather vibrates like mad as your hand goes towards it, and you can feel it clenching. You can feel it, and just for a moment, a flash of an eye. The same eye that you saw. It's its feather. It's feather. And you know it with an absolute horrific certainty. You've got close to it. You also know that from now on, it knows where you are. If you ever get away from presumably someone that could stop you from knowing where you are. So maybe don't go too far away from Alamanawais. It's got you with its eye. But you know what you also know? It now wants to eat you.
Great.
From the feet up.
Oh, you're
It's
pretty
going to
bad,
start with your feet. And you don't even know how you know this, how quickly it comes in, but it's going to start with your feet, and you're not going to be able to move. And it's going to do it slowly. The eye. If you're ever away from her, it might just freeze you in place. And it will come because it's hungry. But already, just beside you, thinking, I can now sneaky stab it. Because if I just move away, set a trap. I'll be frozen, but no one will. Kill it. You knew how. It will come because it wants you.
Bring it on.
All of that as your hand is twisting, shaking, and with a certainty born of nothing more than the fact that you are here. We're convinced that if this was anyone else, their hand would blossom into beautiful change. But not you. For whatever reason. And there you come! As the sword comes out. Pink petals come tearing from the blade. As you come flying forward. Let's see how well
Am I
she
going to
does.
get time to do my thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
I would like first the belly test.
But I was
Okay.
going to do a melee test as well, probably. You're going to ask me, and
I
I'll
am.
probably do it before.
We'll see.
Okay.
My belly is real low.
Oh,
This is our strong point, everyone.
If Ed was here, he'd say it's high odds. He doesn't have a good understanding.
Yeah, Ed is not supernumerate.
No way! Alamena wife. She's moving, and Barakul comes out. An immediate sense of Barakul comes over towards you. And it hits your ears and almost deafens you for a moment over by where you are looking up. And down at the end of that, you can sense something pursuing you. There's something out there at the end of the tunnel where you're looking. You can feel it, looking, sensing.
Like right at the end of the tunnel.
And it's out there.
Yep. Okay.
And it's sensing, it's looking, and you got a sensation of the Feathered Lord has come. And he says it out loud.
Oh.
Over by your way.
Can I just ask one clarifying question? Yes. Does he feel any kinship between that and what he saw beneath the Temple of the Gilded Boar in the ice cave? You know, the vision that he had there?
I am attempting to parse that in a way that I can provide an answer to it.
Up souls.
The answer to that is maybe.
I'll take it.
Not a no.
No. Yeah, it's a difficult question to answer.
Kinship.
Barakul, wallop. As the sword comes out, there's a slight shudder, and ice crackles down the edge of the shiny stone. Barakul is out. She is coming.
What I would like to do with Barakul,
what are you attempting to do? Here we go.
I would like to slide Barakul between the crystal and the feather to form an unyielding wall so her blade will hit the feather but not harm the crystal. That's the plan.
Nice.
I love it. As you twist and do yourself.
38.
In. Swing. Right, your initiative is?
71.
What's yours?
They're lower than that.
I think it's fair to say that not only are you closer, but you're much faster as well. That will be brought in as your blade goes.
I only need one hand. Yeah.
And then it flashes through your mind. Playing with the fox when you were a child. You're all the way back in the pond. And it's looking at you with its playful eyes. It's pulling back and hopping forward towards you. You couldn't ever harm it. It's looking out over the waters of the Manansport Sea when you were down in Marienburg. You slipped away. He convinced you to slip away. Get away from your parents. Didn't want you near your parents. Didn't want you knowing things. Attached to you. Didn't want you knowing anything. Do yourself a cool test.
I am swinging a sword.
You're so cool.
And one success. Unless I'm resisting nobles. Still success.
It is not the most noble of creatures.
It's not
I'm
a
sorry
noble
to
fox.
say. Time here is loosely fragmenting as you realize that that fox is this, is that, is everything, always was, always will be. And you had tricked it into fox form. It had come through to escape the destruction of the gate. Your mother's plan. She's right. They have to be closed. Because the imperial family is no longer doing what it once did. Oh, you know this because the fox knows this, because the fox tried to escape. It was trapped in there a long time ago by your ancestors. That's out. But it was always out. This is as inevitable as the sunrise, as unchangeable as the great rising sun itself, as unchangeable as the great tree from where you draw your blood, where you were born. All the winds of magic flow through your mind, flow through your body, flow through your soul, because you are descended from this. You didn't know the great secret of your family until now. Chaos. To defeat chaos, you use chaos.
Speaking my language.
This blade is made of its blood, made material in wooden form. As it arcs towards it, and it's fair to say that Jiro, looking on, is critical.
Fuck you, Gerald.
There have
Thank
been
you.
many great blows in history, marvelous feats of arms, amazing strikes that have been made. This is not one of them. This is quite unlike Sigmar striking out with this core at some beastman-based enemy. This is quite unlike Ulric, perhaps, sensing thousands of demons and seeing them off with the core of what lay in the heart of this particular shard. The very fact that you know that to be true completely betrays the lies that Alamenowith has spoken, the elves have spoken. The stones are much older than the elves. The stones are older. They bridged on an older network. They used something that was already there. And you know it with a certainty that you cannot get past. They used technology, old technology. They didn't just use spells. They used science. You don't know how you know this, but you do. Because you and your ancestor are linked. It's angry. Incredibly. And you just cut the tip of it. The whole feather flips into nothingness. It drifts into colour. Just the tip of it. That's all it took. It was a terrible blow. You almost missed it in your panic. It goes off towards the side, slides through, the thing just fragments to nothingness, and the link is broken. The link is broken, and the howl as you're pulled away from it. It's lost one of its links to the material realm. It wanted to be the fox because it knew what it was going to be. As long as it was the fox, it would have you. No, it doesn't. Good.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're next on the eating list. Not happy. As woof, the whole thing suddenly relaxes. Magic floods through the place. Floods through it. Where beforehand, it was almost stymied, held, twisted, stagnant. It wasn't that you couldn't see all of it, your winds properly, because it was broken. And the ding, as blade hits blade, causes a reverberation and the magic floods out. And you, unlike everyone else, are billowing in a wind. Your hair is flapping. Your clothes are going. Everything is tearing out of here. And, I mean, if you want to cast a spell, now's a pretty good time to do it. I'm not saying you're going to control it very well, but it is flying through here. Alamenowith is blown literally over. As she falls down, much less of a wizard than you are, much less in control of the whole thing, and also an elf. As she falls down to the side, just plastered against the grotto at one edge, her back pushed up against some of the stalagmite, reached the ceiling.
Thank you.
And it's broken. Birdie, you were right there. That whole thing is going right in front of you as the blade hits there, chung, and your hand suddenly relaxes. You're glad it turned out this way this time.
Yeah, it's time.
Yeah. And you don't know where that thought came from. Oh. There's a small part of you that thinks that maybe you do. But you can't quite grasp it. You can't quite grasp it. It's right there.
Yeah. Tip of my tongue, kind of.
Hey, Luitpold.
Hey,
Oh, well, holy shit balls.
join the priesthood, they said. See the world, they said.
Literally, the guy said just one thing: just don't do anything.
I blame Jiro for this.
I mean,
This is
it
100%
is his fault.
Jiro's
He's the one
fault.
who brought
100%.
that in.
Yeah.
Why would you bring something of such great power in here?
And he speaks Reichspiel.
And I know
Is the
you can
elemental white still
understand
plastered against the wall in the wind?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's billowing away.
Help?
Try and center yourself. Just let it flow by you rather than try and stand in
Try
front of
not
it.
to be squashed up.
Channeling
against
all
the wall.
good test, please.
Oh, sorry,
It's difficulty 14.
Just a moment.
It's, I think
Don't
you know that.
fail.
Difficulty 14.
Yeah, no.
fuck off.
4 successes.
4 successes. You're channeling the wind through you. Let it pass through. It's
Like
not working
Barracuda.
so well.
I was going to say, is Barracle helping? Because it might drain some away.
No, it's plastered right with her because she's currently holding it.
I mean, that's good. At least it's plastered with you, not stuck in the wall.
Yeah.
Oh.
Because that would be
a pretty great.
that'd be an act of vandalism.
You may, it's no longer bleeding from her face. There's blood there, but there's just a slight trace through of a scar sitting down there. The wound itself, ever so slightly shimmers. Like you catch the light, oh, it's a bit red, green, blue.
Oh,
It
rainbow
shimmers
scar.
just
I'm
slightly.
a hologram.
Just like, I mean, no one's going to notice that, right?
Yeah, that's not going to get.
Yeah, you need a scarf.
I need
That.
to start things, but well, you may well
She'd
sheath
be
her.
like mini element white. Calling her around little scarf. You'll just start calling them little scarf and big scarf.
Scarf
she'll
sisters.
Yeah.
sheath her, tankin and turn around and just like power walk to Jiro, and then she
She
will,
just looks at you.
in very fast, very angry Nipponese to you all, she'll just say like, "You blame me for this? My family, you don't understand. Nobody, it's be my fault. Nobody told me anything. I was fooled in the same way that you were fooled. We are going to go fix this, but don't you dare tell me that was my fault."
Elric's nodding.
Yeah, the tone is
I
correct.
know
By
it's
the damn
rest
time.
Yeah, what she said.
And we're going to go out there and you're going to teach me how to use this stupid sword.
You cannot use this.
You just bloody did.
It says, if you do, you will know where you are.
Well, like,
You can only use it when you have to.
I'll need to learn how to use it for when I can use it.
That is why I'm here. That is why I didn't take you back to your parents.
If you knew all this stuff, why didn't you tell me beforehand?
I didn't know all of this. How do you put it? Your lexicon. Your spoken Nipponese is poor. Perhaps we should start there.
Fine. And she's just going. She's just like, I need out of this place. But I can't leave because I'm otherwise. She just like walks up to the tunnel and then stops and then walks back around.
Luitpold's also crouched at the entrance of the tunnel and is very much not letting anybody out.
And then she's, like if you could see smoke rising out of her, she would be smoking.
Your Imperial Highness, do you know what you've unleashed?
You've unleashed.
Again in Nipponese.
I know.
She'll change into Reichsfield for this part because she's now calmed down. She'll be like, I unleashed.
Yes.
Is that why? Luitpold will actually probably will just say it. Is that why the Templars are here?
No one knows.
To fight it?
Why would they
Why would they
already
know it's
be
coming?
here if it's only just been unleashed, unless they saw it in a vision?
It's here. That's what he said, right?
That's what it felt like.
Yeah. But I thought he said it out loud, you said.
Why did he let us go on our own? If Jiro knew something was...
Did you say
Okay.
Luitpold?
Yes,
say Luitpold said
Yes, he did.
out loud.
Yes,
The Feathered Lords.
Yes, that's yes.
Yeah.
Has come.
Yeah,
He
has
said
come.
it has come, not
Yeah.
if they're-
True.
Yes, I did.
My family has either not been doing their work. I can say it's my family, and or they've also been fooled. Probably both.
It is
And-
no concern of mine, Your Imperial Highness. All I need do is ensure that you don't kill yourself.
Tempted to do it just to spite you.
You won't.
Maybe I should because this is all my fault and really
Don't
the
be so
only
petulant.
honorable
You're
thing
not a
to
child. You're an adult. What would your mother say if she heard you talking about it? You're a representative of the imperial family. You're acting like a child, and you know it.
Fine.
You dealt with it. That is what you were supposed to do. It was a terrible blow.
Did what I had to do.
It's not once.
Okay.
I shall see if it's outside. He pops in, he's cross through.
You can go outside.
And he's out.
How many successes did he get on his cool test? 50 fucking 2!
How does it feel, Alamanaway? How does it feel?
What are you talking about?
How does it feel, Lindsay? Having people get high successes.
It's pretty good, he's on our side.
And we'll turn around and say, I'm sorry. I have been fooled up until this point. But I will do my best to rectify that error.
Do you think this is why that elf in Marienburg took such a dislike to you?
Stop. Do yourself an intuition test, please.
You were not dead. Okay.
7 successes?
Sweet. Your choice. Are you oracular visioning that or not? You know there's success.
And that's interesting. It's not how it's meant to work.
I know.
Because if you give me the choice, I'm meant to automatically crit it.
No, I'm giving you the choice.
Oh.
I'm not giving it to you. I'm giving you the choice. You can respond or not.
What's the choice?
Just is whether to use. Does this count as my 1 use per session?
It does.
You live vision.
I mean, is it the best place to trust any kind of vision?
What could possibly go wrong? Everything's gone well.
but like from Luitpold's perspective, not that Alamanaway has told him this yet, but what he got from his vision was that this place was holy to Ladriel, and not wrong. Yeah, let's have the vision. Let's do it.
Good roll. So, oracular vision. Tell me, what does it say when you get?
Oh, I mean,
good
it's only a
success?
pass. I just
you get yourself some
I
random
get a vague thing
crazy
that'll make no sense to me.
stuff that may or may not make sense, but you don't get certain fact unless you crit it.
Yeah.
Was this what he did?
I am also stunned for 2 minutes.
As you ask your question, and he twists round, and his hand shakes slightly, and you can feel it coming on. It's almost like a fit as your body starts to twitch, and a flashed image
Has he got time to
passes
sit
through your
down?
mind. Oh yeah. Well, he's sort of right down by the cave
I
edge.
don't want to bang my head.
Totally.
It's health and safety.
Down. Look after yourself. As
The old
it
rule.
goes. Your mind is filled with flashing imagery, much of it multicolored, much of it shifting from one thing to another, and then pushing through it all is Ulric. As he strides through it, great horns coming from his head and a spear in his hand. He is naked,
Classic. Classic Elvic.
completely naked.
Saturday.
And he's
3 horns.
nice.
moment.
Undercut. And, as he pushes through, and he starts to mumble as those colors swirl, and he steps forward and steps forward again. The wolf, he mumbles, howls. For what happened ever onwards. the birth of a god. So he has sent his children. And at that point, to say that the imagery passing through his mind is confusing is really not going in anywhere close to describing the flittering mess that's running through his mind. Screams, death. It reminds him of what it was like when he was younger. And whenever he looked at someone, all he saw was death. It's like that. But dialed up to 11. It's not just burning, not just howling. It's not just terror. It's all of that wrapped up in a nice bow of chaos. His mind may not do very well with that.
There.
Do yourself a cool test. His mind may do very well.
Couldn't you be more clear when you talk about stuff?
Yeah, 2 successes.
Yeah, good stuff. He can't close his eyes because obviously there's no eyes to close.
Yeah.
He can't avoid the onrush. He begins to just shake on the ground.
Is he in control enough to attempt to meditate? No, he has
Oh,
meditation.
no, sadly not.
That's fine.
As the divine vision flashes through him, he's in trouble. He looks like he's in trouble.
Try and minister any aid that he can.
Possibly just hold him in place. Stop him from bashing his head again and again against the rock.
I'll basically put myself in between the rock and him.
Ulric the hugger.
Have we got a stick to put it in his mouth so he doesn't
He
bite
comes
the
in.
one?
How thick is my
It's
staff?
about that.
So you
Yeah,
could,
but-
Yeah, you could jam that in his face. Take that.
He'll thank you if it means he doesn't bite his tongue off.
I mean, moving forward, maybe I should get like a leather strap there
Yeah.
so that you guys can jump.
It's a good idea.
Yeah.
Far better than
Cushioned hat.
taking his staff in your mouth. As I said that, I realised where it was going.
Phrasing.
Let's move on swiftly. As he shakes, Birdie, your whole mind is back and forwarding. You are as scared or not as you wish to be, but you have all the justification to be both terrified and excited.
I'm furious
I
and
love it.
excited in equal measure. The first fuck out of her mouth is quite quiet. And then in escalating tones, fuck! Fuck! While all this is going on, she's just screaming. And some of it's in Queekish and some of it isn't. And she's just
Dear.
really angry.
He gave us
Because-
one instruction. He gave us one instruction.
It's like that episode of Community.
Sorry.
You know, where he walks back in with the pizza.
Yeah.
Everything.
Yeah.
everything down.
Yeah.
This is the worst time.
Yeah, she's practically howling.
Shaking, holding, howling. What are you doing?
I can speak, right? 'cause
Oh,
I'm-
yeah.
Birdie, you were a rock. Be a rock. Be a rock again.
I'm not a rock, I'm bait.
And what's Yumi doing?
Is Elemenoi still stuck to a wall?
Oh yeah, she probably didn't do the hard that. It'll be more. Birdie, Birdie, you're a rock. Be a rock again.
Is
Translation.
it continually channeling test? Like, is it a round by round kind of thing? she can
Sadly,
do?
no. It
No,
requires 14
it's
on a
just
oneer.
once.
Yeah,
Oh.
there is so much magic passing through here, and sadly, she is deeply affected by that.
Did you not hear earlier? She's
Yeah, not
worse
as
than
bird.
an elven child.
You will go try and help her if you can. I don't know how, but she's gonna try.
It's actually fascinating and weird the way her hair is just being pulled by it and is whipping in the wind, occasionally slapping her in the face, going through her eyes. Gosh, her eyes look weird close up. They're different. They're so different. Maybe this is not the correct thoughts to be having right now. She's struggling. You're no longer in pain. Very easy for you to hopefully provide her with. But the force going against her, as you try to make, say, for example, move her arm, it's extraordinary.
So me standing in between her and
Would
the thing
squish
is
you.
Not between her and the wall. Between her and the crystal doesn't stop the magic.
It does
at
not.
all. Okay, cool. I don't think I can help with this.
Just leave me. You did a good blow.
To Elric's sight, is it dissipating at all?
Not yet.
Anything, or is it just still as strong
It's
as
just-
it was?
Hearing through here.
She'll move Elemental's hair out of her face and tie it.
I can. I'll tie it. Poor old Luitpold. This is quite the vision. And it's certainly not necessarily the best position to be in as someone else takes their head through. To arrive to see you giving him the best bud hug, him shaking, her, you, I'll tie your hair, fuck!
Should stop saying that.
And you snap out because it's the Grand Theogenist of Sigmar.
You didn't see.
Or is it?
Or is it?
Yeah.
Who arrives, presumably having sensed something very odd occurring in this place, and presumably having said he's going in by himself. Number one, he does not appear to be a doddery old man. Anything but, indeed.
Does he look like Gerhardt?
No.
Oh, that's a relief.
Anything but. He appears to be relatively fit. Got a moustache, grey hair, yes. Difficult to age. Purpose, he could be in his 80s, 60s to 80s somewhere, but you know that he's old. But he looks healthy. Very, very healthy. As he comes in to survey this.
I have a question. Does he immediately look at anyone's feet?
Yes,
Whose?
Birdie.
I'm missing something. Clearly I am.
As he looks around the chamber, looks at you.
Can I say something?
Yes.
It has come, Luitpold.
Well then, I would like to bellow a prayer to Sigmar. I don't know if it'll work in here or not.
God.
Let's find out.
Let's find out.
Why not?
I mean, if it does work, it works.
What did you roll?
Yes, that's
I
obvious.
rolled
apologise.
36.
Excellent. Can I have another D100?
Oh.
Oh, no.
Oh no, 90?
Ooh, nice. Wow. 90, you say?
Yeah.
Oh, dear.
Never listen to me.
No, but I think this might prove you're right. For what it's worth, I wasn't doing. If it matters, do you need to know which?
You lose the bless and invoke talent for a certain amount of time.
I mean, let's find out how long. I was going to say, if it matters, the miracle wasn't intending to target him with anything.
Doesn't matter.
But,
It's gone. And you feel it go as he looks around the place. Looks at you. Says, I don't know who you think I am. But I am not what you think. Who are you?
Father Luitpold
What?
of the Silver Flame. And whatever the correct. What does one call the Grand Theogenist? Your Grand G-Thought. Like your eminence, or
Let's use that for a moment. I've got it written down elsewhere. I can't recall off the top of my head.
of the
She
Silver
just
Flame,
nods.
Your eminence.
and says, "What have you done here?"
I mean, I just had a vision.
No, it's gone.
I didn't hear that, but I'm assuming Luitpold would have.
Yeah, he's got gout, and now it's gone.
It's gone.
He growls. And you hear from behind him a call. Should we come in? I mean, I'm not very, should we come in? And it's fair to say that not even the Grand Theogenist can make a dignified exit from this place. As Grand Theogenist Bum makes its way out, leaving you in there. And you hear a voice on the other side saying, "You know this isn't your place to make any judgments, so please, with the utmost respect, Sigmarite, could you please?"
From the other side of the...
Yeah. And you hear, "I do not take orders from some simple little den farm." Says, "This day you do. Unless, of course, you wish to break the oldest of treaties between us. As per our original agreement, I was never here." You hear quite clearly. And he says, "I don't care what you say to your gods, to your people, or to anyone else. I told you before, and I'll tell you again, we do not judge you. You judge yourselves. Get out."
You know what? In for a penny, Luitpold's going to start going out.
Yeah, give me time to, get off the wall and put my sword away.
Well, now that you've got up on your obligation, Elric will try and see if he can buffet anything.
Do yourself an assisted channeling test.
Oh,
Wherever you can roll.
5 successes.
6.
So total of-
wait, it was a crit.
It is a crit.
Oh, I didn't even realise. I was adding on my thingy, so hold on. So that's 6 successes and a crit.
Oh, so 6 successes in total.
Yeah.
Okay, critical, and you got
5.
So that adds another success. So that's 7 successes, but it is a critical. As you go over and you channel, and channel, and channel, the enormous flow of actually all of the winds is beneficial because you can push it out. And you create, effectively, a barrier, a stone in the river, causes the water to flow around, leaving her, for the moment, unbuffeted. As you push the actuary to either side.
She'll take that moment of freedom to put Barracool away, because that's the most important thing right now.
And the tension goes as you're grounded back in material reality.
Thank you.
No problem.
Outside, as you crawl out, you can see at the top of the stairs about 30 knights sit behind him. And one Ulric. And they have reached
having a face-off with it.
somewhat of an impasse. And it's quite clear that, presumably, this is Yori. You know it's Yori. The 15th has decided not to, at least at this moment, force the issue. He just looks at him.
Awkwardly sidle up to the periphery.
And says, "We will be back. Denfam. And next time we're here, we may need to review the treaty." Yes. And then walks off. The knights look at him. He breaks off, goes over to the coach, and the knights start calling out to each other. Elric looks over at you. "Oh, hello. You've come out on the other side, I see. What happened to your hair?"
What's wrong with mine?
Well, it's a mess. Sticking out at funny angles all over the place. What were you doing in there? Look, we get some strange people here. They like to do things down there. Holy place, you understand? particularly children of all. They like it down there. I understand.
Oh, I think I need a bath.
He says, well, you and whomever you were down there with. He folds his arms.
Is that better? It's meant to stick up, but like just in one big.
I think it's fair to say you're blind.
Yeah, that's why I'm asking.
Yeah.
A little help?
No. You can do your own help.
Can you at least? Is it slightly better?
I come from the coast in the north. We have creatures called sharks. They have fins that out of their back as you look like one of those. It would be rather good if you could just slip below the water. It's just a reverse shark. You managed to make it all good that way. That's exactly what you've done, yes.
Well, that's all right.
Yes.
It's meant to look.
It's fine. I wouldn't worry too much about it. I'm sure one of your friends will be able to resolve it.
That's right.
And next time, might I recommend you bring one of the Jade Order? They're much better at this.
At what?
Ensuring that whomever you're with gets pregnant, obviously.
I've let this go on for a while, but that wasn't what was going on.
And of course it was. That's what they all say.
No, but it definitely wasn't.
Of course it was.
You believe what you want.
He looks off.
You're wrong, but you can believe what you want.
Yeah, of course. As the knights are making their way off. Looks like they're leaving.
I think he'd have been angry if he'd walked in and caught me in the middle of that.
Seem pretty angry. He says, what are you lot doing?
Making our way up.
Yeah.
No point.
Yeah.
I'm going where LAWhammer is going apparently forever now.
Sticking
You
right-
and me both. one of us on each side.
Yeah.
It's going to be everyone sticks to Alameda forever now.
behind, just kind of shepherding them, I guess. They're trying to.
Okay.
As the Ulric at the top looks over. I'll say one thing though, you might be blind, but you really do choose them.
Wasn't always blind,
Is it a recent thing?
relatively.
We had a blind man here about a year ago. He was
Johan, White Raven.
no. His
That's
name
what
was
it was.
his name was see what I recall. His Majesty of the Light Order. Yes, Majesty of the Ulric. Yes, that was his name. And he came here, blind, obviously, and encountered some of the sons of Ulric who managed to creep in. They do that sometimes. They like to call themselves sons. Who? They're children of Ulric, every last one of them. To call them the sons of Ulric is just to accept their ridiculous beliefs about, well, everything. And he turned to me and he said, one day, you're going to get a visit from the Grand Jaegers. Now, this is not unsurprising. He passes through an average of maybe twice a year sometimes. It is a meeting place in there. And sometimes he likes to meet with our Ulric to calm in the cups. But this time, I was told by this blind man, he won't be coming to you. He'll be coming from Middenheim. Because the matters are so dire, so important, that he will have traveled all the way to the city of the White Wolf, incognito. Of course, his cult will know that he's missing, and they will send an escort. They will find them here. Of course, it has come to pass. He did come from the north, and indeed, his escort did find him here. Just this very day. Now, all of that may sound like the ramblings of another wizard. One of the wrong order, if I do say so myself. But then he said one other thing. And it haunts me to this day. Because he seemed so certain as he looked at me. He said, there is a certain inevitable point where things can't be stopped. I'm paraphrasing a little. I can't remember exactly what he said. inevitable point that can't be stopped. And one day, a blind man will come, and because of his actions, will unleash a terror so impossible to fathom that you will dream about it for the rest of your life. I remember saying to him, with a certain amount of what I thought was wit, why should I dream about it? Surely it would be he, the one who was responsible, to which he replied, no. No. Because you're the one to realize that it happened on your watch. He has already come to terms with everything that sits before him. It is the day your eyes are awakened. I have no idea what he meant. But I bring it up because you're quite blind. And this happened. And I very much believe in sharing things. How can one learn if one doesn't share? Not like Sigmarites. They like to keep their secrets. They like to try to protect people through ignorance, forgetting that it is through intelligence that we can make informed decisions, and that the blindfold that they pull over their people endangers them far more, oftentimes, than the alternative.
Yes, it's the secrets that have got us into this mess.
Yeah.
Yes.
Our little capitular. He likes his secrets. He lives on them, thrives on them. After all, that is how he maintains his position here, knowing that people will arrive and have their little secret talks down there, like they matter. They're just words. Actions are what actually matters. But our Grand Theologist doesn't know that. And our Ulric does not know either. That much is certain. But who am I to make any decision on this? I'm just a den father. There's a simple priest. I suppose you would call them high priest, I suppose. Barely. I'm more like a deputy high priest, if I tell the honest truth. There's not even a high priest here. The cult doesn't determine it's worthy of a fool high priest. Mostly just to try and snub the cult of Sigmar.
Are you from Nordland, then, Father? You said from the North Coast.
Yes. I'm educated, though. I got out of that. So make all of that of what you will, Father. I don't know what happened down there, but something happened. And it caused him to run. That was the most powerful man in the world, I would argue. And he has decided to leave. Just go. To capitulate. This is not his style. I've faced him off about 10 times. Every single time, he likes to be on somewhat of a show. And he always wins. Because that's his position. He knows that I have very little real power, but he capitulated, which means he's afraid. I don't know what you did to make him afraid. You did something. Personally, I like to see him afraid. It's good that these people remember who they are, where they are in the world. So, as far as I'm concerned, you're welcome to return anytime you wish.
Thank you.
This is a holy spot, a site of importance to both Ulric and Sigmar. And it is a meeting place where those who have differences can resolve them. But it is also a place of extreme violence. This is not commonly discussed by those who like Sigmar, after all. They forget that he fought off against an unnumbered beastmen. Here, according to their myths, according to ours. Not just scores, but centuries of demons tried to take this place. Ulric saw them all. And then he traveled north to reclaim, supposedly, his lost weapon. He wasn't driven here. That's what they say up in the High Temple. He was defending it. And he succeeded. I don't know why. I don't think any of us really know why. as Den Father here, as the Den Father before me told me, he said, don't listen to the cult in the north. They're all for telling grandiose stories. They don't like the idea of Ulric defending. They like him attacking. So they have repositioned their tale somewhat to give it a more offensive stance. And he said, try not to be offensive. You're going to be dealing with a lot of Sigmarites. And they don't take offense frightfully well. They harbor grudges. And you will often find those grudges do not come back for maybe months. When they come back, they will hit you hard. I offer that as a word of warning. Sharp ears. Your Magister is marked for death. He insulted royalty. He had no reason to do so. He will not simply let that go. Be light on your feet, Father. I suggest camping. It's over. By the river. The gentle flow of water will help calm your nerves. You have seen things that I do not wish to know about. And perhaps you are not alone. Good evening.
Good evening. Thank you. Till the next time.
If there is one.
Oh, there will.
If there is one. And he walks off. Well, Ed missed out on quite a bit.
I'm never going back there again.
Worst field trip ever.
Camping down by the river. That was certainly a nice side trip. Are you happy you came?
Yeah.
Are you happy you came?
I don't quite understand why everybody's so down on what's happened.
The faces.
Well, I guess you don't know what. Nobody knows what happened to Birdie, so because she hasn't told
No.
you guys yet.
True.
I'm being marked to be eaten from the feet up. Not ideal.
I mean, fair enough. Yeah. That's not what I did. That is suboptimal.
Whatever happened in the tunnel seemed to. I don't know.
I just discovered for certain that the creature that I thought was my oldest friend was in fact tricking me this whole time, and potentially my whole family and my whole kingdom. And
But now you know. You were being tricked, and now you know. It was connected to you, and now you severed that connection. Is that
Yes.
not a step in the right direction? You know you were being tricked. You're not being tricked anymore.
it's a
You
good
know
thing,
you were
but I'm
connected.
unhappy about it.
Yeah, I mean it's painful. You bear the physical scars, you bear the emotional scars. I understand, but this is growth. This is a step in the right direction.
And with that step in the right direction, everybody takes a corruption point. A perfect moment to say, has anybody transgressed any limits?
Nah.
No.
No.
I've just added 2 because I'm now 16 of 10.
I do. We need to do a test. And I would like a cool test.
So is it just a cool test?
It's a cool test.
Uh-oh,
No.
spaghetti-o.
3 fails.
There will be no side effects from that at all. And with
Can
that,
Oh, it's too late. She's already rolled it.
she has. And with that marvelous end, we bid farewell to 5 days ago and everything that occurred in the place of the Shining Rock, and that Gerhardt has very little awareness of. Because Gerhardt, let's be honest, often has very little awareness about many things. For someone so clever, he does miss the point sometimes, bless his soul. But he missed this one. And with that, I will end with what everyone does at 288 XP.
Ooh.
Good evening, all.